Hello, my name is Alan. My pronouns are he, him, and today I'm running a one shot of my own game against the Dark Conspiracy for as part of the Open Hearth gaming community's shared Hearth weekend. Um, this weekend is a way to encourage people to get more involved with online gaming and to give them an experience of the Open Hearth culture, which we think is pretty good. We're playing with a set of safety tools. We're playing with lines, veils, the X card, and the open door. And we're also playing with our community's code of conduct, which I sometimes rather crudely summarize as "don't be a dick." And I'm sure that won't be the case. So that's the game that we're playing. This is a game of bitter and twisted former spies and criminals and military dropouts in search of a vampire conspiracy. And we're going to start playing that in a bit. But let me start by asking people just to tell us who they are playing. And I'm going to go from right to left because I'm just so radical on the character keeper. So I'm going to start with asking Roy to tell us something about Giovanni Romano.
Uh, Geo, as he's known, was a good soldier for the Contini family in the Neapolitan Camorra, basically mafia around Campania in Italy. Um, and his entire family was wiped out. Yeah, the entire mob family. Um, the person he cares about the most in the world,
Well,
or you don't want that yet. Okay.
I'll come to that in a bit. I'll come to that one in a bit. So that is our and his expertise is around his capacity to assassinate people and just being
Yep.
generally criminal. Great.
Yep.
Let me move along to Katrina Garnier. Blake, tell us something about Katrina Garnier.
Okay, Katrina was general espionage for French DGSE. She's a handler, so talker, persuader person, and she's got good insights into how people think. And yeah,
An attractive brunette in her 30s. Looks like to
yes,
me.
that's what she looks like.
Yeah, yeah. Let me move along to Eric. Tell us something about Ibrahim Abe Wheeler.
So Abe, that's sort of how he or what he goes by. So he was he grew up in Michigan, joined the Marines and was pulled into sort of counter terror operations, in part just because he had a little bit of language knowledge of Farsi, and he sort of fell into that world, truly kind of hated it, but was good at it, and eventually fell out of it in very sort of ugly ways. But yeah, he still wants to do something important, or rather, he'd like to do something important for the first time, rather than everything he's done so far.
I like that. Particularly skilled at intrusion, breaking into places, mechanical and digital kind of barriers, door locks, all that kind of stuff.
Yes, and good at sort of manipulating people into coming over to his side, or kind of using leverage rather, because that was part of the Marine Raiders, was the sort of special forces unit he wound up in. So that's a lot of pushing people to work with you, whether they like it or not.
And finally, Helba, tell us something about Root.
Yeah, so I imagine she's relatively young compared to everyone else because she started out as one of like teenage genius hackers cliche you see in Hollywood and got like conscripted into some like organization beyond her power after like messing with the wrong people. But she was so deep into the whole Silicon Valley like tech bro worship thing, like she didn't think there's anything wrong with a a technology firm that's so deep into the military industrial complex. It's really like whether it's running the government or the government is running it is more of a academic difference until recently.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, there's a whole new conspiracy to uncover there. Maybe they're connected to the one that you find yourself investigating. Who knows? Um, Let me then start in a different place and go to, let's start with Katrina this time. Tell me, there is somebody left in the world who matters to you, even if you don't matter as much to them. So who is your anchor and what is their relationship to you?
My cousin Gabriel Garnier, he's a what do you call it? Not Catholic, the other one, Presbyterian, Anglican, Church of England, not Church of England because it's France, but Anglican pastor or minister. We both wanted to do good, and he does it by faith, and I do it by espionage. Okay,
so not in the column that says your anchor, but in the space next to that, type into that just that, a sentence that summarizes that or a phrase that summarizes that. Let me keep going in that direction. Let me go next to Helba, you keep editing that cell. It's the space next to that is where I'm going to ask you to write. So I'm going to undo that change to try and make that, because that copies across to the other ones. So name, relationship. Okay, and it is in column G and onwards that you're going to write what I ask you to write. Yeah. So let me go next to Abe. Give me a name, give me a relationship.
So Harry was another guy in Abe's unit. He left earlier than Abe and went private. So not private in a good way, but sort of the private contractor, military stuff. And so they were lovers, but it was very sort of messy. And ultimately, Harry sort of went out of it and went out of everything. So it's a very sort of one-way kind of relationship at this point.
Fine. Put me something in that cell next to your anchor, that open space. Put me something in there and that summarizes that. So we've all got an aid memoir of who is important to you. Helba, I see you put Professor Finch and mentor. Just tell me something about Professor Finch and what, how is he your mentor?
Yeah, I think he's basically the person who showed me the ropes when I just got into Decioma. And I think at the time it's a very father-daughter relationship because he seems genuinely caring. But upon reflection, it's not clear how much this is a put pressure on her. So he can play the good cop kind of situation. So there's some doubt there.
But there's enough belief in Root to make him someone important to you.
Yeah.
Someone you would not want to throw under the bus.
Yeah, not immediately, no.
not unless you were pushed to do it. Okay, no, I get that. And finally, let me come round to Roy. Geo, who is still important to Geo?
His wife, Carly. She's his stars and his moon. She's everything to him. He doesn't want to throw under the bus for anything in the world. The only person he truly loves.
Is this an ongoing relationship? How does she deal with the fact that you disappear for large chunks of the time doing dangerous and dubious things for dubious reasons? And now
she's used to that. She knows what's up. She's a wise woman.
Okay. And in the game, there are opportunities for you to tell us more about these people, so we begin to care about them before you throw them under the bus. Though, Geo is convinced he will never do that. Well, time will tell. Finally, there is down there on row 24, and for this one, I think I'm starting with Abe. Down there on row 24, there is a why did you choose to confront the conspiracy? Now, you talked about this being important. There's a couple of selections on that drop down. And again, it's better if they're different across the table. Why did you choose to get involved with this group of people as what amounts to what other people see as conspiracy theories?
Mm-hmm.
Which one of those attracts you?
I think, again, because he wants to sort of actually do something good with his up to now sort of wasted life and skill set. I'm not sure if that's sort of loss or humanity.
Well,
It,
select humanity and see what crops up underneath it. See if that fits your need.
okay. Yeah, yeah. I think that works for me.
Okay. Let me carry on across to Helba. Which, if any, of those attract you as a motive for getting into these dangerous situations I'm going to put you in?
Actually, I think I'm going to go with curiosity.
Fascinated by the allure of the blasphemous unknown. Right. Now, both Eric and Helba, you will see that a question has appeared just beneath that on row 26. I'll come back round to you to answer that question in a moment. Let me, for now, though, go round to Roy and Gio. Why did you choose to commit conspiracy? You talked about, the entire crime family gone.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it literally took my entire life away. They took my entire family out, and I just can't let that stand.
Okay, so this is revenge. So the conspiracy was involved in what happened to the family somehow. We'll may flesh that out. You'll see a question has appeared underneath that I'll ask you in a bit. Finally, Blake, what about Katrina?
What
why
I was
is
thinking
Katrina
is
in this fight?
they killed like someone she knows like in front of her to try and get her to do what they want. And she's like, no, we're not just cattle. You're all going to pay for this bullshit. So what would that be?
I mean, there's a sense in which that is loss, I think. Because presumably when you didn't come across, they did in fact kill that person.
yeah, right in front of me. It's just how, you will do what, or you're next sort of thing. And she's like, no, you're all going to burn.
Okay, so loss, they took someone that mattered from you. Again, you'll see the question underneath. I'll come back to ask you to write something about that in a bit. So let me carry on in this direction, starting again with Abe. What have you seen that demonstrated the conspiracy's inhumanity? Now, as I say, you won't have encountered a vampire yet, right?
Oh, okay.
But you will have encountered signs of this conspiracy's cruelty, inhumanity, the fact that, you don't matter to them as people, or people don't matter to them in general. So what have you seen that demonstrates the conspiracy's inhumanity?
I think maybe he's seen that they had a kind of like how to put this, that they had people who they would, for various things, whether they were on different drugs or had different sort of emotional states or something, almost like a sort of buffet, but that they would cultivate, that would sort of change the flavor, or maybe just they would, they sort of believed it did. And just seeing them sort of dehumanize people and turn them into that kind of like a snack bar, just sort of put him over the edge.
Great. Put a sentence or so in that box, just as an aid memoir to capture that. There is a subsidiary question I'm going to come back and ask you in a bit about what you would sacrifice to stop them. Let me go to Helba. What have you seen that fuels your fascination with the conspiracy?
Yeah, so I think I have found a truly perpetual Rube Goldberg machine. So it's a useless machine because it's one of those things you see in a French museum. It just keeps doing the same complicated thing without any output. But it's truly a perpetual machine that doesn't need any input or output. So obviously the conspiracy holds knowledge and technology that's beyond anything that scientific world knows.
I like that. What I'd like to just tweak that slightly, that you've had a glimpse of it. So it appears to be doing all that stuff because you haven't tested it yet, but it would be interesting to test, wouldn't it? So yeah, I get that. And I'll come back to you for the subsidiary question in a moment. Let me go round to Gio. What was the most important thing you lost? Well, you kind of told us that. So
Yeah, my entire
just put it
family.
into words for me. And how did they take it? What did the conspiracy do that led to the loss of that crime family? the
Well,
destruction.
I got a call, from somebody quiet, like, we need you here, Geo. I got back to the house. Everybody was dead. I mean, just throats ripped out, blood all over the wall. And uh, it was just terror and just horror. Never seen. I mean, these are tough men. These are hard men, and something to do that. I mean, you just never
Torn limb from limb.
seen anything like it. Except
How did Carly escape? Because did they not follow up with relatives, or was this just the kind of the named people, the made men and women?
yeah, it was just the made men. It was just like the boss's house, where we were all at.
Fine. Put something about that into that space. So again, we got an aid memoir that we can work with if we need to later on. And then let me come to Katrina. Who was it that they took from you, and what were the circumstances? I think you've told us about the circumstances, but I think I'd quite like a name.
I don't know, I'm thinking Malcolm, my husband.
Fine. Just put Malcolm, your husband, and something about that kind of, work for us or else. Yeah.
Yep.
And then Eric, I'm going to come to you and ask the follow-up question down there, which is, what would you sacrifice to stop them?
It sounds a little cheesy, but I think my life, although I also would be very opposed to being captured, which I know is sort of obvious, but he's sort of on the verge of like, yeah, I'll just end it fast. Like he's ready to do that if it comes to it. Maybe far too ready.
Yeah, right. I get that. And we have no lines or veils on suicide. So if the moment comes, Eric, Abe can do the thing he might feel he has to do.
Yeah, he's got
so
it planned
again,
out.
put something in there just to capture that for me so I don't forget it.
Okay.
Let me go along to Root. Helba, what would Root give up to know more about the conspiracy and these arcane capacities they seem to have?
Yeah, I think I the opposite. What I'm willing to give is anything but my life and my freedom, because like obviously someone needs to democratize all this technology, and when they do, someone needs to be there for the byline, and obviously that should be me.
I love that. I'd sacrifice a few lives, bracket, but not mine, bracket. Yeah, that is exactly the kind of characters we're dealing with here. Abe, how long will this idealism last, I wonder? Let's see. Coming back round to Geo, we know what they did. What would you sacrifice to get your revenge?
My life, but not my wife.
Very neatly put. Bang it into there so that we've got that as an aid memoir. And finally, Katrina, have you seen their body or not? And whether you have or not, what would you do to get them back?
You mean the body of my husband
Yes.
as I killed him? I saw them like rip his throat out or whatever, so I presumed he did. But I'm thinking, you had to flee while shooting because more of them were coming in, sort of thing. So
Yeah,
no.
there was nothing in the coffin.
Yeah.
Okay, so you haven't seen the body. What would you give up to get Malcolm back? And what's on the table here is anything up to your life and your soul.
I was just thinking the EU.
The collapse of European democracy. It's a little bit esoteric, that one.
All right.
It's a personal thing. What would you give up? I'm sure most of the existing DGSE might give that up.
Well, we can all blame the vampires for Brexit, but I don't know. Just I'm not sure she has considered what she isn't willing to give up at this point.
So the answer to that question is anything. Okay, that'll do me. Anything. Fine. So those are our initial situations. There's a bit below that which we won't bother with until we need to mechanically. I am struck by the fact that we're almost at 10 to the hour, and I would normally put a break in every hour. What I'm going to suggest is we take a break now until on the hour, so I can go and refresh my cup of tea, and you can just stretch your legs. If we're back together on the hour, then we'll start in media res with the operation that you find yourself on. Okay? So I'll see you on the hour. I'll pause the recording for now. So here we are then. We're about to embark on some combination of Jason Bourne Vampire Hunter and Mission Extremely Impossible, with slightly less likable characters, conceivably. We'll find out about that as we go. But yes, so the setup that I'm going to bring to you is summarized on the Operation 1 tab, right? This is what you currently know, and I'll read it. You have received an encrypted message from a member of the network. The network is the dark web conspiracy theorist group that you belong to. She uses the handle, or they use the handle, we don't know, she, her, they, who uses the handle Madam Mina. The message concerns Olivia Chu, and you can see a picture of Olivia there looking a little bit pensive and worried, a freelance podcaster who specializes in true life mysteries, mostly unsolved disappearances. She had been doing the rounds of potential sponsors, saying she had a really big story that would reveal something nobody knows and change the world. Then, a month ago, she herself disappeared. However, yesterday, one of Madam Mina's contacts spotted her lying low in the Red Palace Hotel off the main square in Marrakesh, in the Old Town. And you can see our millions of viewers, you can see that main square behind Eric, who's playing Abe. At night. We'll discover what time it is now in a bit. The contact also reported increased conspiracy activity in the city, or activity that they believe to be conspiracy related. This makes Olivia Chu a person of interest to the network, and that is why Madam Mina has contacted you, your group. What we're going to start with is a view of Marrakesh by day. What we see as our camera pans across, maybe from that main square during the day, down one of the side streets, we're seeing the narrow streets of the Old Town. We're seeing it's busy, it's noisy. There are street vendors on every pavement and every corner spilling into the roadway, which is narrow anyway. Probably more mopeds and motorcycles than larger vehicles. We are seeing the attractiveness of that old city. Old buildings, some of them maybe not too tastefully renovated, with maybe some not very nice signage. But we're also seeing tourists, lots of tourists, and most of the shop fronts look like shops designed to service the tourist trade. So that's my pitch. And as we move down these streets, we come to a crossroads. And on one corner, under a slightly garish sign, is the Red Palace Hotel, which was where this contact has spotted Olivia Chu. What I'm going to ask each of you is, where does the camera find you in this scene? And you may want to think about how what you're doing or where you are or what you look like, how does that give our audience a sense of what you are in terms of your expertise? Yeah, that's not a bound to be, but just think about that. You know, we want to get a sense of these characters from this first set of shots. Again, because Blake has done this before, I'm going to start with Blake. So Blake, where does the camera find Katrina in this little scene of the crossroads, the hotel, the tourists, all the stuff I've described?
I think I'm at one of the shops and I'm trying to get information, so I'm talking to people and I'm being friendly and I'm
So
looking
are you
around.
playing the tourist?
Yeah.
Okay. So tourist lady, attractive tourist lady, going from shop to shop, trying to be a tourist and just asking general questions that may or may not
But
generate some.
it's obvious I'm watching people, not stuff.
Yeah. So hiding in plain sight. Let me come next to Roy. Where does the camera find Geo in this little scene that I've set up?
He's sitting at a little table. What time of day is it?
Daytime. Pick a time of day. It's
Okay.
light.
Okay. So he would be sitting at a table having a little coffee, a little tiny coffee cup. Barely touching it if anybody's watching. He's watching the hotel. He's looking for Olivia. He's wearing like nice slacks, a white button-up shirt, and a sport coat. It's probably a little looser than it should be.
The slight
And he's
bulge,
got
maybe.
some, nice Italian sunglasses on. And he's just keeping an eye out for Olivia.
So a slight, a sophisticated Italian tourist enjoying his coffee and just watching the world go by.
Yeah.
Yeah. With a bulge under his armpit.
Yep.
What about Abe? What do we see of Abe as where does the camera find Abe in this little scene?
So Abe is checking into the hotel or
Ooh.
trying to get a room. He's presenting as sort of a businessman, not necessarily native to the Middle East, but sort of speaks the language or languages, okay enough. And so he's trying to get basically he's trying to get a good deal on the sort of best room they have available, just to sort of present himself as a certain kind of asshole.
Fine. So as we see Abe entering the front of the hotel, where does our camera find Root, Helber?
Yeah, I think I have a van with the logo of the local cable service, and I'm in the back seat, and I'm on a laptop watching Olivia's podcast or listening of whichever is necessary.
There's a whole library of maybe a season's worth or maybe 2 seasons worth. 10 or 20 podcasts, often grouped around disappearances around the world. And the sense you get from listening to those is that she rarely has a solution, but she's quite engaging in the way that she describes these kind of true crime stories.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the setup as we start. But then, as you get in these kind of movies, across the bottom of the screen appears a few days earlier. So at the minute, all you've got is what's on Operation 1. This is an opportunity for each of you to do some groundwork before you got to Marrakesh, or to do some groundwork in Marrakesh to find out some more about the situation around the hotel or around Olivia, or anything else that you think might help you successfully deal with this situation. But before I ask you to do that, I want some idea of what you think the operational objective here is. And to help, I'm going to put a couple of options down. Is the operational objective to just find out what Olivia knows? Or is there a sense in which you want to find Olivia and protect her? Because there are 2 different routes you go down for that, it seems to me. So I'm going to go to Abe, because Abe is our humanitarian here. Abe is the man who thinks of himself as the good person trying to do good. What do you think your operational objective is here?
Him, it would be to find and protect her, but also he's sort of ready to take her off the table if she's converted, or if they're in the process of converting her. He doesn't think anyone. He thinks if you taste like a single drop of vampire blood or anything, you're gone. He doesn't have any confirmation for that, but so yes, so it's a little bit of both of those, but he would like to actually get her out of this if possible.
Fine. So this is a draft. currently I've written find and protect Olivia and what she knows, unless ... Yeah,
Yep.
that's us. That
Yep.
so that's your starting position, folks. The question is now, what do we see you doing in the previous 48 hours to give you a bit more information to increase the chance of you successfully finding and protecting Olivia? And it's going to end up with you in that square at that time. Yeah. So again, Blake, you've done this before, so I'm going to start with you just on the grounds that you know there's an example to be made here. So what do we see of Katrina previously, either back in London or wherever you were based, or Paris, wherever the four of you are based, or in Marrakesh sometime in the last 48 hours?
I was thinking maybe talking to contacts, trying to find out who's in town, sort of thing. So maybe if there's like a halfway point, she was chatting with them, maybe doing odd jobs for them, helping them out, and just saying, who's in town, what players are we sort of looking at?
Fine. So, folks, we're going to engage with a mechanic here. And again, follow me through the steps. For this, I want you to have a look at the basic moves tab. Yeah. And there's a basic move called investigate. When you want to ask a question about someone, something, or somewhere, or want control, that's me, to reveal something about the situation, roll a d6. And it would also be helpful if you had the dice room open. Yeah. And the dice room is in the links, is in there. I will put it in the Zoom chat as well, just in case. So it would be a good idea to open that dice room now, and then I'll take you step by step through this first kind of assembling of a dice pool. You're all using the same dice, because when you get there, you'll realize that having a set of that each is really quite tricky. Everyone see the dice room? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. So you always get to roll the dice in the middle, that gray one, which currently has a 1 on it. Yeah. If your expertise is relevant, then you get to roll that orange one that is labeled expertise.
Yeah, I'm thinking persuasion, because she's being nice, being helpful.
Bear with. If I think that you're in a position where it's valid that you have some kind of bonus in play, you also get to roll the black one. But you also get to roll the black one when you have the expertise deadly and you are being deadly. Yeah. And the other one that you get to roll as often as you like is the stress dice, the green one. So in this case, take Katrina. Katrina has the gray dice because she always does. Make the case for expertise, Katrina.
So persuasion, yeah, she's talked with these people before. She's saying, look, if there's some people that you don't like and I don't like, I'll go and deal with them. That's fine. Help us help each other. What can you tell me what's going on?
Scene where somebody who's still inside the DGSE rather, in a Paris cafe, maybe.
Yeah.
So you're going to be rolling the gray dice and the orange dice. I see no reason to give you the bonus dice, but would you like to roll the stress dice and increase the chance of getting a high number? Because what we're after, folks, is the highest number the dice pool gives us. Yeah. So do you want to?
This is important. She wants to know. She doesn't want to go in blind.
So you're going to roll those 3 dice. And for those of you unfamiliar with this dice room, you click on the dice you want to roll, and then that will light up a little kind of purple button at the bottom of the screen. You hit that button and they will roll.
2, 2, 1.
Well, okay. So if we look at the basic move, and this is the same mechanic runs across all moves pretty much, right? So what is your highest roll? It is a 2.
2. Not
1
good.
to 3. You get the minimum amount of information you need to proceed and mark heat. Now, heat is a resource for me. Currently, therefore, I'm going to mark a heat. It's on the operators tab. I've marked the first box, leading to an increase in the conspiracy suspicion. There is, though, a way to get a reroll, right? Or to improve that. Can you see that next to where you've highlighted your specialism on your character sheet, there's a little box, yeah? And if you hover over that, what you should see, and click on it, is once per cycle of play, mark stress to use your specialism to improve the outcome of a dice roll by 1 step. So given that Katrina is a handler, and this is an interpersonal, come on, tell me what you know kind of conversation. Katrina has the option to mark stress, go from 1 stress to 2 stress, mark that box, and improve that fail to
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So it's not an easy conversation. Your contact within the DGSE is kind of reticent because they know that you've been a little bit flaky since you left the organization. You know, they know that your husband was killed in really terrible circumstances, or went missing in very difficult circumstances. And that's when the department decided that maybe you needed to spend some time away from operations. And they know that you've not been in touch regularly. People say,
I've been busy working, and
yeah, exactly. Doing stuff, freelancing, and everyone's a bit worried about freelance espionage agents. Who are you working for is going on behind their heads. So it takes effort. That's where the stress comes from. But it doesn't get rid of the heat I've just marked, but it does allow you to get to the point where you get to the 4 or 5 outcome, you get the minimum needed to proceed, and control will also answer one question. So the minimum you need to proceed is that Decioma Industries have a team of independent contractors in town. You get that for nothing. And what I'm going to do is on the Operation 1 tab, I've said named conspiracy ops contractors. I'm going to say a team from Decioma Industries. I'm just trying to check that I've got that name right. Technologies, sorry. Decioma Tech is in town. ... You get that for nothing? Do you want to ask me a question to flesh out any of that?
yes. Can they do what they like, or the law keeping an eye on them? What's their relationship with the local law?
Well, I won't. That's a question I'll give you for nothing, and I could give you it as the setup. In the tourist areas of Marrakesh, it is all about protecting the tourism industry. So, in the old town of Marrakesh, the sound of gunfire draws police, draws security operations, because they cannot afford to have tourists caught up in anything that blots their kind of reputation. So you can have that for nothing. All of you can have that for nothing. So is there a question you want to ask me about this team or about anything else about them?
Do they have any heavy hitters like ex-Soviet special forces or something, or?
They often recruit from US special forces. ...
Fantastic. Okay.
So that you bring that to the table. Let me go next to Helba. What do we see Root doing over the previous few days to flesh out the situation you're walking into?
Yeah, I think I would be combing through Olivia's footprint, right? Like her phone calls and messages, and like her online footprint, her offline footprint, like if her car has a GPS, etc., that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that works for me. That sounds like, darkened room, lots of screens, back in your base of operations in Paris or London or Frankfurt or wherever you lot hang out, or somewhere, in deepest Wisconsin, who knows? We never see that. We just see the inside of rooms in mysterious locations. So this is, again, you're rolling to investigate, you're rolling the gray dice. Your digital intrusion expertise plays beautifully into this, and as does research for that matter. So you're getting the orange dice. Do you want to add the stress dice just to increase the chance of success?
Yeah, no, not at this time, I think.
Okay, highlight the dice you want and roll them.
So let me see. How do I have never used this dice roll with this setup. How do I roll the dice after clicking on it?
Okay, so once you've highlighted a dice, it should get a little kind of reddish circle around it, or a little
Yeah,
reddish
yeah.
kind of, yeah, got that.
Yeah.
And down at the bottom of the screen, there are two big buttons. One of them has a dustbin on it. Don't press that.
Yeah. Oh, I
but
see.
yeah, you with me? There's a little purple button with a kind of re-roll, inverted commas, symbol on it. Press that and they should move.
Is that 3 and 3?
That is 3 and 3. Indeed it is. Which does not bode well, because I'm going to mark heat again. It looks like that whatever you're doing is somehow getting back to the conspiracy. Maybe they're watching Olivia too, and they're noticing some interest from other people. Why would they be looking up at Olivia? At the
But
same
hang
time
on,
we
wouldn't
are?
they have the option to mark hacker for expertise?
Well,
because they're
coming to that. So I mark heat. At the minute, all you're going to get, Root, is the minimum you need to proceed. If you want more than that, you too can mark the button, the little box next to hacker, increase your stress by 1, and I will give you more.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And increase stress from 1 to 2. Stress is always at least 1, by the way, folks. It never gets better than that because you're in that kind of business. And I will tell you what you need to proceed, which is that, well, you tell me what you want to know as basic information, and I'll see how far I can go with it. Because, you know, her footprint could tell you different things. What do you want to know from the footprint?
Yeah, I think mostly I am trying to establish like what's her daily routine, where she goes to get coffee, like go to work,
Yeah.
and then if there's anything unusual, like abnormal leading up to her current situation.
Yeah, that's great. Fine. So for nothing, I will tell you that she had a very high kind of digital footprint until a month ago when she went to ground, when she went into hiding. And she kind of drops off the net very significantly because, you know, her social media posts had previously been talking about how she was really digging into, you know, this really interesting story, no clue of what it was, but really interesting story. And then nothing a month ago. And now I think what you're getting, and I will give you as what you need to proceed, is just about the only payment she's made in the last month have been payments to the hotel to maintain the room and payments to the little coffee shop across the way that Geo is currently sitting in or sitting outside of. So you get that for nothing. You can also, because you marked that stress and improved your outcome, you can ask me another question.
Is there someone in the coffee shop that has, I don't know, take a picture of her, like talk to her and posted it on social media, like kind of social media information leakage?
Yeah. I think, yeah, certainly. Do you want a name for that person?
Yeah, sure.
Where she talks to a guy called Abu Hussein every day, ... So Olivia Chu pays for the hotel and coffee where she talks to Abu Hussein, talks to the barista Abu Hussein every day. Does that seem like a reasonable answer to your question?
Yeah.
Fine. Let me come next then to, we've got a sense of what Katrina's doing, we've got a sense of what Root's doing. What about Abe? You know, you've told me that your plan is, once we get back into media res, to try to get into the hotel and do some stuff. But what are you doing in advance of that to set stuff up, maybe?
I think I think in advance he would have wanted to have gotten one of the cleaning staff's cards, you know, so you can sort of get into any room. So he would try to do that at least the day before, maybe two, where he's able to sort of be around and people maybe, you know, forget that he was there, not sort of dressed the same, you know, all that stuff. He's not doing a full disguise, but, you know, just not. I think he might, as long as it's the kind of thing where if they have the card anywhere on their carts or anything like that, he would just try to sort of walk by and do a sort of grab. Otherwise, he would maybe have to resort to some more technical kind of spoofing thing. But
Right. Now that is what we call in the game a preparatory action, right?
okay.
And so we will come to you last once everyone's had a chance to just do any more investigation. So Roy, is there any investigation that you want to do in advance of us cutting back to that crossroads?
Yeah, I think, well, families everywhere, you know, they're all over the world. So I think I would have used my contacts to figure out who the local boss is, take a nice bottle of wine from back home with me, you know, as a gift, a sign of respect, and reach out to him to see what we could learn from the ground, you know, about this Red Palace Hotel and what's weird going on around there.
Okay. I think that's lovely. So yeah, I think we probably see some some smoky bar in maybe a slightly less reputable part of town, away from the tourists, but not too far away from the tourist part of Marrakesh. And tell me something about this place where you meet him or her. Which is it, him or her?
We'll go with the him.
Okay,
Um,
just give me a bit of set dressing.
Yeah, there's probably I don't know much about Marrakesh itself, but I'm
Nor
assuming
do I.
there's gonna be some hookah smoking going on. Um, you know, we're seeing some shady people in this place.
Subdued
Uh,
lighting.
yeah, the boss here is probably running it like a speakeasy. You know, I don't know about the situation with alcohol and whether it's open or not, but you can get the good stuff here. You can probably get almost anything you want here. So it'd be like a Vice Den.
Fine. So this is rolling to investigate. The grey dice is in play. Your larceny expertise is in play. So you're rolling the grey and the orange. Do you want to add the stress dice to get
Oh yeah, yeah,
bigger chance of success? I mean, who
absolutely.
wouldn't? Who wouldn't use the stress dice?
We gotta get some information. We're not gonna survive this.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
Fives.
that's good.
Fives without even trying. So I don't get the mark heat. And on a 4 or 5, you get the minimum you need to proceed. So you are talking to Mr. Smile, as he is known in town. And Mr. Smile is called Mr. Smile because most of his teeth are gold. And so we see him grin at you as you come through the door. Ah, my friend Gio, welcome. Sit, smoke, drink, and with this big kind of golden smile. And what are you interested in knowing for nothing, Roy? What is he going to tell you without you even trying?
Yeah. What strange shit is happening around this Red Palace Hotel? What are they noticing?
Um, a competitor of his has been contracted to watch the hotel. You get that for nothing. So it looks like there are some. I'll add this to the Red Palace Hotel. It's being watched by local criminals. ... But not of course my people. Yeah. So watched by local criminals. And now you get to ask me any question you like.
Yeah, who are these Goombas? Huh?
Um, he will give you enough information to identify them, right? So criminals who you now recognize. Yeah, so I've added that to the where bit of Operation 1, the Red Palace Hotel Marrakesh being watched by local criminals who you now recognize. Yeah. They all wear a particular variety of t-shirt in that gang. And the sense you get from Mr. Smile is this is street gang stuff. This is not the kind of business you and I are involved with, Mr. Gio.
Yeah, nobody's got style these days. It's these young
No one
punks.
at all. These young punks, as you say, these young punks, they are beneath contempt. So that is the setup we've got, right? And then Abe, now I'll before I send you in here, you are going to be using not investigate, but you are going to be using the move that says maintain your cover, because you need to be this client of the hotel. Yeah, that's the sense I get, that you want to have been in there for a couple of days, being the guy who comes and goes. So you have an opportunity to get one of these cards. Yeah. So let's see how convincing you are as this traveling businessman with a smattering of the local language. So you are rolling the grey dice. Which of your I think your intrusion expertise plays here. You know, I told you I'd be broad in this. This isn't just about picking locks. This is about getting into places. So
Right.
I think I'll give you intrusion. So you've got grey and orange. Do you want the green stress dice?
What's the drawback potentially for the?
You know, I've been waiting for someone to ask. If the stress dice comes up equal to or greater than the highest number in the pool, stress automatically goes up by 1.
Okay, got it. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna add it.
Oh, a
Okay.
6. Wow, this is as good as it gets, but stress does go up by 1, because how do we
Right.
know that what we see of this little bit of infiltration, how does stress manifest for Abe?
So I think for him, as he's grabbing the card, the cleaning staff member, she sort of pops out of the room. They lock eyes. He hands over the equivalent of about $100 US, and then he goes his way, and she goes her way.
Fine. What is it that our audience sees that makes them realize that he found that a little tense? You know, is this a bead of sweat?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's their gaze is locked very hard. He also grabs for his. I'm guessing he would have a small gun or something. He sort of reaches, but stops, and makes that decision sort of on the fly.
I mean,
And
that
she's also
sounds
looking at him as he goes down the hall, so we don't quite know what she's gonna do.
okay. I'm gonna put that down as manifests as tendency to move to violence, not necessarily to get there, but to resort to that.
Sure.
So mark your second stress box.
Okay.
And let's look at what this says, because the basic move says maintain your cover. On a 6, you succeed brilliantly. And control will agree with you what extra benefit you get. So I think it's the master key. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I think, yeah, no, we'll make it a simple kind of plastic card. That's simple. So you've got the plastic card. Make a note of that somewhere. There's a note section right down the bottom. Just make a note you've got that in hand.
Okay.
Also mark Intel. Now, Intel, folks, is a resource that you can accumulate if you roll well. And Intel can be spent in a number of different ways. It's stuff you picked up. It's not defined until you tell me what you want to use it for. Okay, so Intel's a useful resource. And you'll find there's an Intel track down on row 27. So Abe, this has gone very well. Normally, and now I'd be asking you to roll for stress because it was all a bit stressful, but you've already marked stress for this action, so you don't get to do that twice. So you get Intel, you get the card, your cover is entirely solid. Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess that what we see then when we cut back to the crossroads is you going into the hotel or coming out of the hotel. Where do you want to be? Because you can be wherever you like.
I think in this case I'd be coming back out.
Fine. So we know where you all are. We know route is in the back of some van or you know, somewhere out of sight, looking at what's going on digitally in the location. Given what you already know, route, do you want to be a bit more specific about what you're doing? You know, quietly on a tablet or a laptop?
Yeah, I think while I'm listening to the podcast, I guess I'm looking into Abu Hussein, right? Because we
Fine.
now know. Or
Yeah.
maybe.
You've got a name, so you can dig into his,
Yeah.
what's
I
his
think
digital.
I'm going to look into him.
Fine. Let's have you roll to investigate then. Grey dice, orange dice, because digital intrusion is at work here, and so is research. You can put the stress dice in if you want to.
Yeah, not yet. I'm going to try my luck.
Okay, 2 dice. Oh, 2.
Not good.
Oh, so again, it is suspicious, isn't it, that a barista, you get some indication that somebody else is watching the barista, or the barista is somehow connected to somebody else. So I increase heat. Unfortunately, you've already marked hacker, so you can't improve on that.
Yeah.
What you need to proceed is that there is more to this barista than meets the eye. Okay?
Yeah.
Fine. Let me go to Roy next. What do we see Roy doing when we cut back to the scene outside the hotel?
He's taking his sunglasses off and cleaning them, just keeping an eye on the place, looking for anything unusual, watching for guys in t-shirts and Olivia coming and going.
Right. Let's see how well these street guys operate. You want to ask me, can I see any of these guys, don't you? Really?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So roll to investigate. I think that the grey dice applies because it always does. And I think that probably larceny, surveillance.
Yeah,
Surveillance applies.
surveillance.
Of course
Yeah.
it does. Yeah, you can nail these guys. So grey and orange, green if you want it.
Yeah, let's go green.
Oh,
Oh,
look at
not
that,
good.
a 5. Yeah, but okay, stress goes up. But on a 5, I can tell you that there are 4 guys that you recognize. Yeah.
Okay.
And they are kind of located on, this is a crossroads. The hotel is on one corner of this crossroads, and there is one of these guys near the corner of each of the other 3 locations, and another one up the street from the hotel. 4 of them. Right? You get that for nothing. Now you get to ask me another question. Surely worth the stress.
What are these guys doing? Are they just watching the place, or let me think about this. Hold on. Is anyone approaching the guys?
No. They seem to be, they're just hanging out. They look like, if it wasn't for the t-shirts and the fact that you've had some kind of description of them, they'd just be a bunch of guys hanging out on the street. Because, maybe they're watching a street vendor, maybe they're at a street vendor's, they're just guys that different. Yeah?
Okay.
So that's all they're doing. I think I could tell you that for nothing. So if you have another more specific question.
I've got a trained eye, right? Like I'm looking. So do I notice anything unusual?
Yes, you do. Each of them is wearing an earpiece.
Okay.
And just for reference, folks, all of you, the conceit of the game is you always have one of those in-ear, really high quality, almost invisible little earbuds sitting in your ear. So you're always in contact with one another. But this isn't as high tech as your gear, Roy. But they are in communication, you would guess, with one another, and maybe with somebody else.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me go next to Katrina. Katrina, what do we? You're examining, you're keeping an eye. What are you going to do? And you've got the word from Geo. I've got 4 probables located A, B, C, and D. So you've got that.
Okay, so I'm thinking they're either going to grab Olivia, or they're going to run interference when someone else grabs her. So we may have to escalate, or well, speed up our time frame here, since they've got their attention. I'm going to go into the hotel and try and book a room.
Okay. Where in the hotel do we find Abe? Because we saw you walk in a moment ago, Abe. Where do we find you in the hotel when we cut to you?
Abe is trying to find. I mean, he'd like to find her a room. And I guess I was going to see if we. I guess we haven't done anything yet to figure out which one she's in.
Exactly.
So I think he's probably on his earpiece to Root, and he's saying, "Have a way in, just need a number."
No action required for that. That's passing the ball to Root. Root, can you hack the system to find out which room Olivia is in? Is that
Sure,
what you
I
wanna
can.
do?
I can try. Is this still an investigation?
We are now moving into the operation, but I think the
Okay.
role is rolling to investigate. Yes.
Yeah,
so
sure, sure.
rolling to investigate. Gray dice, orange dice, stress dice. The green one if you want it.
Yeah, I'm going to aid the straight style this time. I got
Oh,
a
look
6.
at that. A 6, and it's not even on the stress die. So so this goes as well as possibly, right? So on a 6, you are going to, as it says in the move, you get the minimum needed to proceed. She's in room 12. Okay. What else do you want? You mark intel before I forget. Root, mark intel. You find out some
Okay.
other stuff. We won't know quite what until later. But you also discover something scary about the conspiracy. I'll come back to any questions you want to ask me in a moment. But what worries you about the intrusion you just carried out?
The conspiracy. If I'm just hacking into the I think it's not the intrusion itself. I think I found like they are better armed than we expected. Like I find things like manifest for like guns, ammo, like that kind of stuff. So like they are a lot better armed than we would have expected for an operation of this scale. So they must be planning something.
Fine. So I think that what you've discovered then sounds like that the Red Palace Hotel is somehow connected to the conspiracy. Does that seem fair? Yeah. And that's what means that you have to roll for stress. Now, roll for stress means it doesn't go up automatically.
Okay.
You roll the green dice, and if it is higher than your current stress,
Okay.
goes up by 1. Yeah. So
I roll 1, so nah.
No, cool as a cucumber is Root. The teenage genius is cool under fire. But you get to ask me 2 questions. So you got for nothing the fact that the Red Palace Hotel is connected to the conspiracy.
So do we know who runs the hotel right now?
I think I will tell you that you go through a series of cutouts, and guess what? You trace it back to Decioma Tech.
Oh.
This, of course, Abe, is coming into your ear as you are in the hotel.
Okay.
You have another question you can ask me, Root, because you got a 6.
So if Decioma is running the hotel, and
well, let's be clear. Decioma is the whole. You go through the holding company and you find at the end of the chain Decioma. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to know: do they have anything on Olivia?
Oh yes. Yeah. You follow the trail back to Decioma Tech, and because you are familiar with their systems, Maybe that's why this came out so well. You are able to, knife through butter go in there, and you find that there is a file in the Decioma Tech server farm labeled Olivia Chu. And it has a mark on it which you recognize as high priority. Seem like a reasonable outcome for a 6?
Yeah.
And sufficiently nervous to make you roll for stress. So that is now what's available to all of us. Katrina, you just walked into the hotel that you have just had Root tell you in your ear that this is this is linked to the conspiracy and Decioma Tech. What do you do?
Oh, yeah, being friendly with the concierge and trying to book a room.
Fine. I'm not going to make you roll for that because I think, that's a perfectly legitimate thing to do. Abe, where are you in the hotel at this point? You got room 12, by the way.
Yeah, I'm making a beeline there, and I'm before I enter, I'm gonna pull my gun, and I guess I'm gonna put the I'm gonna screw on the suppressor, but I'm not going in sort of clearing the room style. I just have it sort of against my leg.
Okay, before we do that, I just want to do the next bit of mechanical update. If you go down to row 32, yeah, I have marked each of you as being lightly loaded, i.e. you do not want to draw attention to yourselves, because the description you gave me suggests that. The exception to that could be Root, who is not on the street, right? You'll notice underneath light, there are 3 little boxes. And what those boxes mean is you can select any piece of equipment you need when you need it, as long as it only has 1 box next to it and no more than 3 of them. Yeah. So, I notice at the moment that, say, Abe is just, we the audience, it doesn't matter what equipment you have, it matters when you reveal it. So we see you just checking for your handgun. Yeah. And you mark it, and then you fill in, as I'm doing now, the first gear slot. Yeah.
Okay.
You've got 2 more pieces of 1 box gear to call on. And, put the card in, beep, and
So I say cleaning, and then I walk in and close the door fast.
fine. Katrina, you're down in the foyer in reception. What do you get in the ear, I'm in, or you hear him say those things? Geo, what are you doing on the street? Again, you're getting all this update. What, if anything, are you doing out there on the street?
I think at this point, I'll probably start making my way into the hotel itself.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because those 4 guys just began to move towards the hotel foyer as well. Root, you're not on the street unless you now want to move there. What are you doing? If anything, you can just sit and wait, see what unfolds.
Yeah, I think at this point I'm starting to move the van to or like one of the service entrance of the hotel.
Okay. I mean, bear in mind, this isn't a multi-story. This is, a converted corner in the old town.
Yeah,
So
I know.
Yeah. So you're in effect, you need to pull up round the corner from the hotel. Fine.
Yeah.
I just need to check that I'm just checking what we've got in play here. Yeah, so this is just a hire van. Yeah, because nobody has vehicles. Nobody's told me they've stolen a vehicle. So this is just a hire van. Fine. I bet it's black, though. So Root has pulled up nearby, presumably ready for a swift exfiltration, if that is what is called for. Roy, Geo, they moved before you did. Do you want to get in any of their way, or are you going to let them go in first?
I don't think I want all 4 in there. So I will take the guy who's a straggler.
I'm gonna give you a pair that you can get in the way of.
Okay.
The two nearest go straight there. There's one further up the street, and there's one across the way. They're gonna be a bit behind. So two guys go in, then there's you, and then there's two other guys converging on the door of the hotel. Yeah. That's the situation. I'll come back to see what you're going to do about it in a moment.
Okay.
Katrina, you're in reception when these two guys come in. And what's interesting is they don't go to reception, they head straight for the staircase. I'll ask you what you're going to do in a moment. Abe, you hear all of this coming through his commentary. You're in the room, and there's a very frightened young woman in there who says, "Who are you?"
So so I put my fingers to my lip, or my finger to my mouth rather. And I say, I'm here to get you out. I'll grab your data, but we're going now.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. So there is a move on the basic moves tab which covers everything that isn't covered by one of the other ones. It's called do something else. So this is about, can you convince Olivia to come quietly? Yeah. And if I look at your expertise, I'm seeing negotiation. Why should I? She says.
She says, because there's men coming to kill you. If you don't come with me, I'm going to kill you.
Oh, I know you. Oh, that was, yeah, that is right. Okay, I was going to say, that's good. That's wonderful. Thank you. So that is gray dice, orange dice, because that is the hard negotiator. You can have the stress dice if you want it.
Yeah, I don't want to get things too messy here, so sure. Okay, so gray, orange, and green.
That's right.
Ooh.
Oh, went the crowd. 1, 1, and 1. That is the worst of all possible worlds.
Yeah.
Because you fail, and I get to mark heat, because I've just filled the suspicious track. The next one moves the conspiracy to the next level of alarmed. Something is going on, and they are beginning to respond to it. Because the stress dice is equal to or higher than every other dice, your stress goes up by 1.
Okay.
Aye, aye, aye. And your specialism, I don't think, as a burglar, is not what's going to help you get out of jail free here. So Olivia screams and runs to the bathroom. I'll come back to you in a moment. Let's go to Root. You've seen the t-shirted guys heading to the hotel entrance. You've seen Roy going to intervene to try and keep two of them out. Is there anything you want to do, or just observe and keep the engine running?
The people who is like trying to intercept, they all have earbuds, right? That's one thing we noticed is unusual. Can I jam them?
Oh, why
like
shouldn't
ideally,
you try?
I'm going to play some kind of high-pitched noise into it, which would both jam it and like disrupt them. But if not, I can settle for just cutting them off.
No, let's see how well this goes. I think again, this is rolling to do something else. Technical is a legitimate skill here, so I think it's gray dice, orange dice, green if you want it.
Yeah, I'm going to add a stress die because this is. Oh, I got a 3.
Oh wow, that doesn't work, or it's going to take more time. You have to try again. You're looking for the frequency. You know you can do it, but you just can't find the frequency in a hurry. And you've already used the hacker specialism, so there's no way to improve that other than to keep trying. So you know, Geo would have had access to the bonus dice if these kids had suddenly gone like this. But right now, Geo, 2 have gone in, 2 are converging. You are between them and the door. What do we see?
I actually bump into him. And I'm like, hey, watch where you're going.
Okay, so is this trying to? Are you physically restraining, or
No. I'm just trying to look like a tourist that got bumped by these 2 thugs.
Okay.
and basically just trying to slow them down so they don't all congregate inside at the same time.
Fine, fine. I think this is again rolling to do something else. I think the fact that there is a certain hardness in your eyes because of that deadly experience as an assassin, which means they're not just going to brush past you. Yeah, so I think I'm going to give you the gray dice, the orange dice, and the green dice if you want it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stay away from the stress for now. Hey, yeah,
Oh,
6.
A six.
That sounds good.
Okay, so on a 6, do something else. For a start, mark intel. Yeah,
Okay.
because on a 6, you invariably get intel. You succeed brilliantly, and control will agree with you what extra benefit you get. So you are going to stop them. The delay is done. What extra benefit do you want?
I want at least one of them to crap his pants and get the heck out of here. He's just inexperienced. He's not ready for this.
I'm prepared to have both of them crap.
Oh
their
yeah,
pants
that's
and
fine,
walk
man.
away. And
They
maybe
I touch my under my arm a little bit, send him a little message.
and the art that you lock eyes with them, and they go, oh, okay. But on a 6, you're going to roll for stress, and the reason you roll for stress is because one of them says, as they turn and go away, looks over his shoulder, says, "You have no idea who you're dealing with, man." And they go. So 2 of them are off the board, but you are going to roll the stress dice and hope that it is.
Hey, I got a 1.
What? Oh, wow. He is ice cold, this guy. Ice cold. I'll come back to Root in a moment to see whether she's getting any more luck with the jamming. But Katrina, you've just seen 2 of these guys come into the hotel lobby, ignore reception, head straight for the staircase. What do you do?
So the reception, oh, I'll just go with my friends. And as I jog to catch up with them, it's trank gun, bang, bang.
Right, declare a trank gun down there. Oh, you can't have a trank gun because it has 2 boxes. You're lightly loaded. You only have 1 box stuff.
Ah, okay.
So you're kind of down to a knife, which doesn't take any.
Oh, hang on,
space.
taser. There's taser.
Taser, fine. So you're going to walk up behind one of them, intimate stun. So you have to get into contact with one of them as you walk behind.
Yep.
I'll come back and resolve that in a moment because I want to know what Abe's doing in Olivia's bedroom. She's running for the bathroom.
All right, so I have a tendency to move to violence. So I'm gonna step closer and I'm gonna punch her in the stomach. I'm trying to basically just take the wind out of her.
Yeah. I'm not that I would normally if she was the bad guys, I'd have you confront them. But I think this is do something else, restrain her. Yeah, get her in your control. So I think that given your background, your military field graph, you're a physical guy. So you get the gray dice, the orange dice, and the green dice if you want it.
Hey, let's green dice it up.
A 5, and it's not on the stress dice. So on a 5, as it says, you succeed with no obvious complications or benefits. She goes down like a sack of potatoes. She is in your control until the narrative changes. Yeah.
I'd like her to not be knocked out, but I do want her to be compliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe you only just had to threaten to hit her.
Sure.
So, okay, she bursts back off. She's in your control. She will do what you want her to do.
So I say, data now. 30 seconds and we're out.
Okay, and she kind of goes to the drawer of the dresser and just piles laptop or a tablet and some stuff into just a carry bag. And she says, okay, I'll come quietly.
And once she's ready, I'm gonna move out with her and go to a room 2 doors down.
Which happens to be your room.
Oh.
Or not.
That's not good. No. I'll go one more then. And I'm gonna hope for the best, hit the key card and hope no one's in there.
Okay, let's have our fingers crossed on that one. Katrina, you go up and after these 2 guys, and the one who's a couple of steps down, you do the taser thing.
Yep.
Okay, let's go through this slowly, because now you need to look at the confront them tab. Okay, if you fight or shoot at a threat or they attack you, say what success looks like. Well, I think success looks like they go down like a sack of potatoes in this case.
Yeah.
All of you have small arms and hand to hand, which applies. So you've got the gray dice and the orange dice. You can have the green dice if you want it, Katrina. Do you notice there's a set risk die along the bottom, folks? If this guy knew this was coming, there's a chance Katrina would get hurt doing this. But because this comes out of the blue, there are no risk die in play. So it is just gray, orange, green if you want it, Katrina.
No, I won't use risk this time. That's right. Just these two.
Only the middle one moved, but it really doesn't
Oh.
matter. It's a 6. I'm cool
Yeah.
with that. Yeah. So on a 6, what it says is you succeed brilliantly. Control will agree with you what extra benefit you get. So one of them goes down like a sack of potatoes. What do you want as the extra benefit?
Is there a second shot? I can go for the second one, or
You're a very capable individual, Katrina. The French do not mess about when they train their espionage agents. You know, ask
All right.
Greenpeace. And so they go down in a heap. Both of them collapse on the stairs just round the corner from reception. So nobody sees and hears anything at this point. They've just gone down. But on a 6, mark intel. But then roll for stress. Because I think that what you notice is that both of them were armed. So these are not just street toughs. They're street toughs who've been given earpieces and guns.
So 2. So 2's equal to my current stress.
Then it doesn't go up.
No.
That's all good. Let me go to, where do I want to go? I want to go back to route. You're getting all this feedback. 2 of them are moving away up the street. 2 of them, Katrina says, 2 down in here. So there's not a lot of mileage in going back to jamming their comms, unless you want to jam the comms of the guys who are walking away.
No, I think like I figure this is about to happen, so I think I'm asking, so do you have the data yet?
Which data was it? I've lost track. Which data were you after?
Whatever Olivia had, I think.
Oh, right. No, I don't think you do, because I think that data is now in her bag with Abe.
Yeah. So I think I'm asking Abe, like, do you have the data yet?
Sorry, I misunderstood.
So I say confirmed.
Well, what's the delay then?
And has the data as he's walking along the corridor. I'll come back in a moment for the rest of that conversation, because it's like 10 steps away he's going. Let me ask Gio, what are you doing? You're outside the hotel. You've given the guys the look that they teach in the Neapolitan Camorra.
Yeah.
That's the look that says walk away before something unpleasant happens. That's
so
gone very well.
I come into the building and I start heading toward the stairs, and on the cons, I'm like, what's the sitch?
Katrina, what is the report that comes back from you? And then we'll find out whose room Abe's gone into.
Yeah, the 2 inside are down. I'm going up to meet with Abe upstairs.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm like, the other 2 are taking a hike.
Let me go back to route then.
No heavy hitters yet.
Let me go back to route and say you're going to try and jam the remaining 2 comms, yeah? So let's have you roll with your technical. So that's gray and orange, green if you want it.
Yeah, I'm still going to go with that.
Oh my! Wow. Okay. So now what I think, while you're finding that frequency, what you hear is them talking to somebody else. And one of them says, Mr. Jimmy, there's a guy who scared us off, but two of us got in. They're going to get her. And you hear a kind of Cockney British voice saying, why the fuck are you walking away? Well, he looks really dangerous, Mr. Jimmy. I don't give a fuck. Go back there and cover the other two. Or I'll come down there and I'll tear you another arsehole. And so that's what you pick up, which explains why I've now marked 2 of the 3 alarmed track. The conspiracy is clearly aware that something is amiss. Let me go back to Abe. Yeah, we need to find out whose room you walk into, don't we?
Yeah, yeah.
In the absence of anything else, this is roll to do something else. I'm not certain that you have particular expertise in spotting whether a room is empty or not. Oh, burglar, yes,
Yeah.
yes. You know, as you're going along, you're listening for any voices. So I think expertise is at play. A failure will have somebody in the room.
Okay. Yeah, I think I mean, if I hear that the sort of immediate threat is over, I was gonna switch to sort of just leaving with her.
Oh,
But
fair enough.
But you know, obviously, if this happened first, then that's fine.
I
can
think
roll.
so.
But,
I think so. You
but
would
yeah,
have
I
lifted
was
it.
gonna hide her, but if it's more like we have to get going, I'm just gonna switch gears. So even then, I'll hit the door, hit the lock, and then say, "My mistake," and then just keep walking.
Okay, let's have you roll with expertise. Stress dice if you want it.
Okay.
What could go wrong?
So and this is for leaving or for going.
This is for opening a door. Is there somebody in there or not?
Got it. Okay. So all right. So I'm doing orange, gray, and I can choose to
green
do stress.
Yeah, you can choose to have it will tell you whether it's stressful.
Right. Okay, so yeah, I'll just do the orange and the gray then.
Oh, it's a fail. I will mark heat. But you do have the option with your specialism of marking burglar, marking stress, and improving that outcome from failure to a 4 or 5, which will mean that there isn't anyone in the room. At the minute, there is someone in a room.
No, I'm already cranking up on stress, so I'm gonna just
Go with it.
hope we can just make tracks.
You open the door just as you hear someone say, "Or I'll tear you another fucking arsehole."
Oh. All right.
And that is the point, I think, where we go to commercial break.
Okay. Can I can I choose to actually do my burglarism if I want to do something?
You can, yeah. I mean, that's the situation as you kind of open the door and say, "Excuse me," just in case, and you hear this voice say, "Or I'll tear you another fucking arsehole." And that's where we cut to break.
Got it. Okay.
So I will. So we come back after that cliffhanger moment when we discover that our Mr. Jimmy, played by Jason Statham, is at the window of his hotel room. Abe, click, open, goes in. Hears him say, "I'll tell you another fucking arsehole," and then looks at Richard and say, "What the fuck do you want? What do you do, Abe?"
So I don't know if I need to click the my burglar sort of stress, but if I can figure out, in that sort of split second that this guy is yelling that through comms, not just like on a phone to his
oh yeah.
So I'm gonna smile and put a few rounds into him.
Fine.
I smile to disarm him. I'm not trying to just grin like a villain, but yes.
It's okay. Bang. Okay, so this is roll to take them out. You shoot at them. You are looking to take him out, I guess. That's your objective. Do harm here, yeah?
Yeah.
So you have the grey dice, because you have expertise in shooting things. That's why you get the orange dice. Do you want the stress dice?
Yes.
But I am going to make you roll 1 risk die on this occasion, just in case Jimmy has something up his sleeve. So you're
Okay.
gray, orange, the first risk dice, and the green one if you want it.
Okay.
Oh, a 6. Now, the way this works, folks, is as long as the risk die is less than your best roll, you do not get anything nasty come your way. So you roll a 6, yeah? So on a 6, you succeed brilliantly, right? You put a slug into him. I can offer you 2 options in terms of the benefit, given the circumstance. 1, you get to put a second slug into him, or 2, the momentum of the slug kicks him out of the window. Which do you want?
I don't want to be that loud, so I think just the second one, the double tap.
Double tap, bang, bang. He moves with remarkable speed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to Supernaturals. There's a tab labeled Supernaturals. I'm going to put Mr. Jimmy in there. Mr. Jimmy has, where is it? Great speed. And so you put these rounds at him, but you only wing him. So you have not put him down. There is more you have to do to him to take him out. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to put on comms to the rest of the team at this point?
So I say engaging. Because I'm in the moment here.
Let me go first then to Katrina, who's
also I've got the suppressor on, so they probably can't hear the shots. So that's why I'm letting them know.
Yeah, that's fine. Katrina, you are further up the stairs towards that floor than Geo is. What do you do, Katrina?
Well, I run. I flat out run towards where he is. Now, am I able to spend intel to declare like a weakness for the bad guy? Or...
Right. So, thank you. Now, folks, one of the things you can spend intel on is to help define the weaknesses of supernatural creatures. And Jimmy is not a vampire, but he is hyped up on something, right? So if you go to the Supernaturals tab, you'll see I've added Mr. Jimmy. I've given him great speed. In order to find out what his vulnerability is, you have to work your way up. So at any time in the game, you can spend intel to first define a compulsion.
Okay.
A second intel will buy you a deterrent. And a third one will give you a vulnerability if you need one, right? So certainly, Katrina, based on what you know about the conspiracy, you know that they have some, inverted commas, super soldiers. It looks like Jimmy is one of them.
Yeah.
So
I'm thinking attracted to any blood, because that kind of fits in with the food buffet thing.
Okay. So spend the intel and select attracted to any blood. Yeah. As you run up, that is what we all now know about Mr. Jimmy. Let me go to Geo. Geo, you're further down nearer reception than Katrina. Do you run up the stairs after her, or do you have another plan?
Let me ask a question first. When he rolled a 6, did he get intel? Is it on every roll, or is it only on certain moves?
No, sorry. I should have given you that intel. Yeah.
Okay.
And I should have made you roll for stress, Abe. Thanks for the reminder, Geo.
Right.
Oh, I'm
That's
bad.
fine. No, I figured I would. Okay, so I'll add another intel. And I will roll for stress. So it's just one die, right?
One dice. The stress dice, you want 3 or less to avoid an increase.
Oops.
Or it goes up. What you might want to do, Eric, is check out the tab that says Seek Relief from the Horror. There are things you can do in the game to reduce the amount of stress.
Okay.
When your stress gets to 4 or more, you could just spend intel to reduce stress.
Oh,
but there are
okay.
also some moves that give you that option, right? So you might want to just examine Seek Relief from the Horror. While I go back to Root in the Van, engaging, says Abe, and Katrina says, the thing will be compelled by any blood, so that's on the table. Root, is there anything you want to do at this moment?
So I can also spend an intel to right now we will add a deterrent, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Spend the intel and select a deterrent from that list. That full control is just for me to overtype something if I wanted to, but I'm
Okay.
I'm
Yeah, I
having
was
this,
wondering what that
yeah.
means.
This is down to you.
Yeah, I'm going to pick fresh garlic because that feels like something you can maybe find around a hotel.
Well, you could just declare it to be in your pocket, you know, and use a load space up for it. So, you know, you declare what you need when you need it, up to the limit of your load. So, so we know that he's attracted by any blood and he is deterred by garlic. So, Katrina and Gio running upstairs. Root has come through to say, try garlic. Abe, you're in the room. What do you do? And he moved like lightning.
Okay, so I'm all right, so then if I can say that I've got some garlic on me.
Mark a box and just write it in on the equipment, on the gear.
Well, hold on, I'm just thinking about this situation. It's a little bizarre. So okay, I'm gonna yeah, I can't quite figure out a garlic situation in this melee, so I'm gonna
Well, look, let me help you, right?
Sure.
There is an opportunity to have a flashback here where Root, using her technical expertise, created a garlic spray.
okay. So yeah, okay.
Root, is that something you'd be interested in? Garlic bullet, yes, the garlic bullet. Quick, load the garlic bullets.
Yeah.
What do you want to have in your loadout right now, Abe?
So yeah, I think a spray makes a lot of sense, a real sort of essence. So yes, I'm gonna pop out a sort of garlic spray. It's kind of like a reconfigured little pepper spray thing.
Fine. Now, so we flash back to Root, you know, extracting garlic essence from garlic. And then Root, this is down to how well do you do this? So when Abe pulls it out and presses the button, does it work? Let's find out. So just write in garlic spray, Eric, on your gear list and mark your gear slot for that. You can overtype those slots.
Okay.
Let's have Root gray dice, expertise dice, because this is a technical task. You could have the stress dice if you'd like it.
Yeah, sure. Let me see. I got a 6.
And it's not even on the stress dice. This goes brilliantly. This is more than a one-shot weapon, right? So Abe, you hit it and, you know, the room is filled with garlic. And nothing else needs to happen apart from he cowers away from it. He is deterred by it. It won't stop him forever, but it will deter his attacks, right? And so that puts him off his, so in effect, you've got a free action coming your way. Katrina, you get to the corridor on which, and you will see, because, you know, Olivia never got in the room. Olivia is in the corridor looking around in panic. What do you do, Katrina?
I'm gonna grab Olivia and head for the planned exit area.
Fine. Emergency
So,
stairs
yeah.
at the end of this corridor, obviously.
Yep.
Which the emergency exit is down where Root's parked the van, of course. So, Katrina, I do think that when she sees a woman running towards her, clutching a taser, and she's heard, because she's close, so she's heard fit from the room, the door is open and there's this burly Brit inside, and suddenly, you know, garlic, I think she's a little on edge.
Yep.
So let's see what she does when you say, Olivia, come with me. So I think this is roll to do something else to convince her. You got any skills that can put that way?
Persuasion. And maybe insight as well, but yeah.
Gray, orange, green if you want it.
Yeah, why not?
At 5, and it's not on a stress dice. She looks at you and says, "Thank God," and will follow you wherever you want her to go. Roy, you are still coming up the stairs. Do you want to follow through on up the stairs, or do you want to go back out?
Yeah, I want to follow through. I'm going up the stairs and into the room.
Fine. So, Abe, you've bought yourself what amounts to a free action, which he can't do anything. What are you going to do with it?
Okay. So I'm gonna do
I just will tell you, there is a move called flee for your life.
right.
Just
In
saying.
this case, it might not be a great idea, but I'm gonna do what I was trained for. So I'm gonna press the attack. So I'm not just gonna keep shooting. I'm gonna sort of walk towards him and try to end him. So
Fine.
if I were to use intel for a vulnerability here for,
Fine.
I guess I'm curious. Oh, go ahead.
I will tell you for nothing that the super soldier is incapable of regeneration. Right?
Okay.
So you do not need a specific vulnerability. You just need to
got
inflict enough harm on him.
Got it.
He
Okay,
is
so those
still
aren't needed.
sufficiently
Okay.
mortal. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah, then I'm gonna move in and try to end it.
Fine. Let's have you confront then. So you've got expertise. So gray, orange, green if you want it. Because he's deterred by the garlic, I'm not going to make you add a risk die. You've got a free hack.
Okay. So then in this case, I'm gonna yeah, I'll use the stress die. I need to take this guy out. So
Okay.
I'm getting up there, but see what I can do.
A 6, and it's not on a stress die. Two more slugs. These actually, they don't just wing him. They hit him body and mass. Yeah.
Okay.
And he stumbles back towards the window. Geo.
I'm gonna roll for stress.
Oh, yes,
right?
you are. Thank you. And you're also getting an intel. I beg your pardon. Thanks for remembering the rules. It's really helpful when people
No,
do.
no problem. Okay, I'm good.
Approaching the edge. Geo, you're attuned to this. You hear the kind of second set of fut. And there is that kind of stench of garlic coming up the corridor. You burst into the room. What do? The guy is getting to his feet. You can see bullet holes in his chest. What do you do?
Close the door behind me. I pull out my handgun with the silencer on it, and just go out and put 2 slugs in him.
Fine. Let's have you roll the gray dice, the expertise dice, the deadly dice, the black one, because you are an assassin with deadly, and the stress dice if you want it. Again, I'm going to give you the benefit of a free hack here because he's on his back foot.
Okay. I accidentally grabbed a wrist die. How do I unselect it?
Oh, don't worry about it. We'll ignore it.
Just ignore it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to go with stress right now. I think I've got pretty good dice
You've
pool
got
here.
3 die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who needs that?
Oh, apparently
3.
I did.
Yeah, because you weren't as prepared for the fact that he is quick. And he dives out the window.
Oh no.
Yeah. So we've got Katrina and Olivia are on the way to the van. The 2 of you are still in the room. Is this the point where you're going to run for it, or do you want to follow through anymore?
I think I would look to see if I have a shot, and then I'm assuming I don't, so I would run.
Well, unless you want to go to the window and risk being seen from the street, I think.
Oh, that's true. The window just broke, so people will be looking. So, yeah, another time for him. So, yeah, I'm leaving. So I kind of give a little curt nod to Geo, and I holster and run.
Fine.
And before you do, Gio will say, "Nice grouping, kid. You're learning."
So, okay, I'll give him a thumbs up. Oh, actually, I guess I'd want to look and see if there's anything to grab here.
No, I think that Olivia has anything with her that you.
Oh no, I meant in this guy's room.
Yeah. I tell you what, when you get back, when you've escaped the situation, I'll allow you to spend intel.
Okay.
To maybe find out some stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Fine. We'll work out what you might have gathered once we've debriefed Olivia. Root, you're down in the van. Katrina's saying, I should come out of the emergency exit now. And I'm seeing, the side door of the van slides open. And Katrina pushes Olivia in, climbs in after her, followed very swiftly by Gio and Abe. And then, Root, what do you do?
Yeah, I think if no one's following us immediately, we are just going to drive away, right?
Fine. And I think just for narrative ending the scene, as you drive away up the street, you look in the rearview mirror and you see Mr. Jimmy getting up. And then we cut. Now, if we were playing a series, I'd now invest some time in defining the safe house, but I don't think it's worth doing that. We cut to a room in the safe house. Nondescript, some mattresses on the floor, maybe some, cases of equipment sitting around the place, but you're there with Olivia. And what each of you has the opportunity to do is to ask her some questions. I just need to know what that looks like. Yeah. And I'm trying to think, where would I start with this? I think I'd probably start with Katrina, because Katrina is our soft skill person. Yeah. So Katrina, what do we see? What do we see that is you're trying to put Olivia at her ease? And
I'll hand her a thing of water and say, like, you're safe here. We don't want to hurt you. We're trying to keep you safe from everyone else. Just relax. Now, what's happening? We've listened to your podcast and then suddenly you're gone.
Okay. So I think this is rolling to investigate to see what she can tell you that's useful. Yeah. And I think persuasion is relevant. So gray and orange, green if you want it.
Yeah, might as well.
She's found
Eek.
unexplained, how can I put this? Unexplained loss of blood donations across North Africa. You get that for nothing, which is all you do. But meanwhile, we see Mr. Jimmy marking heat, and he's in comms with someone. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yeah, no, it was a cock up. We should never have used the locals. Yeah, we'll track them down. Don't you worry. It'll be fine. So that explains why I've now filled the alarmed track. The conspiracy is on guard. But you don't get any more than that. Missing blood donations across North Africa. Who wants to have a go? Is this? I'm going to go to negotiation first. I think, Abe. What's the negotiation?
Now,
well, hang on a sec. She's clearly being tight-lipped because this is her story. Yeah, this is her ticket to the big time. Sorry, Blake. What was that from Katrina?
I was just going to say, can they spend intel to see what they got from Mr. Jimmy, and then they can ask something based on some of that?
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm happy to do it that way. Currently, who's sitting on the most intel?
I've got a lot.
Oh, you have, haven't you? Wow. So do you want to spend that intel now, and I'll tell you something useful you got from Jimmy's room?
Yeah.
Fine. Unmark the intel. You grab up, or maybe it came off in the fracas, a little ID card, a lanyard, and the lanyard is marked international outreach.
Okay.
Yeah, that's your intel so far. Do you want to spend any more? My advice at this point is probably sit on some.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit on it.
So I will go to our negotiator, and maybe that international outreach gives you some leverage for this negotiation, because she does not want to let this go. Because once this story gets out there, she's out in the cold. So she's quite hard-nosed about it. What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm gonna point out to her that if she doesn't get this out to the right people the right way that we can help her do, then she is just gone. She'll just disappear from them or from someone like us. So she has one shot at this, and we can help her make that shot. But then I do hand over the lanyard and say, this is the guy who was trying to kill you, or rather he was from here.
And she clearly recognizes that, not Jimmy, but she recognizes international outreach. Let's see whether that loosens her tongue. So you have negotiator expertise, you have the grey dice, orange dice, green if you want it, though I do note that you're running quite close to the wind now.
I was gonna try to do a seek relief, but
go ahead. No, do seek relief from the horror first. What interests you?
Well, in a breach of OPSEC here, I'm gonna call Harry and try to sort of talk to him about, like, I want him to help, like, talk me down. And of course I go into the conversation thinking I'm not going to tell him anything that is overly suspicious, but I just need to understand. I need to talk to someone who's sort of dealt with this kind of black ops sort of messiness.
Okay. Well, this sounds like seek solace in a relationship with your anchor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing I'm doing it very unsecured, again, sort of like a real breach of everything.
Yeah. So say something new about your anchor. So where is Harry when he takes your call? And you can leave that vague or be specific. It's up to you.
So I think he's in a place like, so he's in the Middle East. He's sort of on a job, a security job of some kind. So kind of like bodyguard-ish detail. But who it is, he would never tell me unless I really sort of forced it out of him.
Fine. So we see him, out the window, we can see that intense, bright sunlight. There's dust in the atmosphere. And, he's dressed probably quite decently so he can do the bodyguard job. Yeah? That seems like a good, that's what we see then.
Yeah.
So what you do is you reduce stress by 1. That's automatic.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you roll a single dice.
Yep. Okay. Sorry, hold on. All right, I'll do 1 stress die.
A 1 plus. Well, on anything, you mark your anchor, placing them on the conspiracy target list.
Okay.
So Harry, back on your tab, you'll find next to Harry there are 3 little boxes: target, missing, and taken.
Okay.
Is a target. Yeah.
Yep.
Once you put somebody on the target list, I can spend heat to make life difficult for you and them.
Okay.
But it's a freebie. The bus isn't heavy. He can probably get out from underneath it.
Right.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And so just to finish off the move, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Job's a good one. Reduce stress by 1. Anyone else want to seek relief from the horror? If you're feeling a little bit, on the edge, I'll give you another opportunity before things get hairy again. Okay. So you've got a bit of a grip on this, Abe, having made the mistake of talking to your former lover. Grey dice, orange dice, green if you want it. What does this negotiation reveal?
Okay, I'm gonna do the green also. Mainly because I think he's getting even more annoyed with this lady. Okay.
5. Okay, for nothing, I will tell you that she knows International Outreach is a charity that provides free medical care to communities who otherwise couldn't reach it. Yeah. So health charity. And they are working in Marrakesh and North Africa.
Okay.
You get that for nothing? You can ask me another question about what she might know.
I'm guessing we would already have, we could find their address and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the main thing that she's been digging up is this, or remind me again, it's sort of
missing blood
suspicious
donations.
blood.
The way that international outreach, you just look on the website, Root's doing that while you're talking to her. And the way they do this is they offer medical treatment free, or optical or dental treatment to backwoods communities in North Africa for free. But all they ask is a blood donation.
Okay. Got it.
And she says that that blood is not leaving the country.
Okay. So I want to know from her where in Marrakesh, or if that's the sort of main collection point, where are they keeping this blood? Where's their main storehouse?
He doesn't know. She's got manifests. She's got an estimate of how many communities they've visited in the recent past. She's got an estimate of how much, if you take a pint from everybody, she's got an estimate of how much blood they've collected, and how much of that, that blood goes back to their collection depot on the edge of Marrakesh. And she's got, evidence that little or none of that blood is leaving the country for the international outreach central hub in Frankfurt.
Okay,
Right?
so we do know where a collection depot would be.
Yeah, it's on the edge of Marrakesh. Do you want more than that? Because that's what she knows.
Yeah.
At this point, that's the nub of her story.
Well, what do you guys think? Is there anything else that? I mean, I think a point of contact would be probably useful. But I'm open to whatever anyone else thinks.
Does she
I just
know
need to know who
anything
to
about?
shoot.
Oh, Roy,
Sorry,
first,
go
then
ahead.
Blake. No,
Okay,
Roy.
I just
Roy,
need to know who to shoot. Tell me who to shoot.
That's what I'm interested in too. But yeah.
Do they know if they're using trucks or boats or planes? How they're transporting the blood allegedly, or?
Okay, it comes in on trucks, and that's what goes to the collection center on the edge of Marrakesh, and it goes out in what is claimed is it goes out by plane, but she's got good evidence it's not leaving by plane for Europe, right? So I think that ties up the question. Yeah.
Sure.
Let me go to Root next. Root, based on everything you've heard from this debrief of Olivia, is there anything that you want to do to investigate based on what she said, or that you want to ask her?
But do we think we already know everything she knows? Like, is there something?
In order to find that out, you have to ask me a question, don't you? How can you tell that she doesn't know anymore? Is there something you want to know? And depending on how the dice fall, I'll tell you what she knows about that thing. Or you can go to the keyboard and try to find some stuff out based on what you found out already. As long as you lot still have a shot at her, there is potentially more to be learned.
I know that I'd like to know if there's someone she thinks is in charge of this operation. Someone who isn't just sort of a random higher up, but someone who seems to have direct management of this operation.
Root, what are you thinking? How would you, if that's what you want, if that's what the team want to know, how could you go about finding that out? Because it may not be about what Olivia knows now. It may be what you can find out based on what she's told you already. What do you think?
Yeah, I think because I have no social skill, I think what's most sensible in trying to talk to her, maybe at this point, I'm trying to basically walk her through how she should have done her research in the first place. Because I'm a little impatient. I'm like, how much your hours? But I'm telling her, you see, like you you can just look at this document and you need to cross-reference them and like all like this shipping manifest. If you like put them on a map, and telling her like how to do research the right way, and hopefully that will tell us something she has, but she hasn't even realized she has.
I think that's great. And what I want to do then is that's gray dice. Your research expertise counts for the orange dice. You can have the stress dice if you want it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to push the stress a little bit because we can always 6 solids. Yeah, I got a 4, but that's on the stress dice.
So stress automatically goes up. And I think the reason that the stress goes up is because when you are taking her through this, and saying, you know, you need to know who's in charge. And it turns out that International Outreach has a kind of consultancy agreement with Decioma Tech. And the person who is currently responsible for that consultancy is a certain Professor Finch. What do we see on Ruth's face? Because I haven't asked you yet how your stress manifests. What do we see that just kind of makes you think, oh shit? What is your stress tell?
Yeah, actually, I think the tale is nothing in that, like, she's usually pretty, like, expressive, like, the kind of, like, Gen Z kind of very expressive and like, emotional, like, doesn't feel like someone who is in this line of work. But when she is stressed, she just pretty much shut off. So, like, she's become a lot more, like, aloof and distant.
Write that into manifest as, just for
Yeah.
reference. Yeah, because I'll come back to Gio and Katrina on that one later. So yeah, Decioma Tech have a consultancy arrangement with this health charity, and the consultant doing that work at the moment is Professor Finch, your Professor Finch. Okay, so that's what you get from that line of questioning. Okay, does that seem like a fair return on investment?
Yeah.
Finally, Gio. You know, I imagine Gio on the edge of these conversations, you know, because he's not by nature a very kind of talky, nice guy. But is there an approach you want to take to Olivia that would allow you to kind of complete the debrief? Is there something you want to know or an approach you want to take?
No, I'm just over there cleaning my gun, and once it's clean, I'm keeping an eye out to make sure nothing's coming to hurt these guys. That's my role. I'm like outside, looking through the windows, making sure that nobody's rolling up on us, that sort of thing. Even though it's a safe house, I've been in safe houses. I've kicked a few doors down on safe houses. They're not always so safe.
I would need to mark another heat to get as far as capture. So far no one's rolled up, but it's early days. That is the situation around Olivia. Now, does anybody want to spend some intel to just flesh out any of that, or do you want to sit on that until we move formally to the next operation, which presumably is going to involve the International Outreach Depot on the edge of Marrakesh?
I think I'm gonna sit on mine.
Okay, and
I'm gonna hold mine too.
Fine,
Yeah,
fine. So now we've got a little bit of downtime before the next operation. I've got a couple of questions, really, though. The first one is, what are you going to do with Olivia? Is she just going to sit in a safe house until such time as you come and collect her? Or are you going to kick her out? Or what? I'm going to go to Abe, because Abe, again, is our kind of, you wouldn't know it, he is our nicest character. Yeah?
Yeah.
He is the one who's in this for humanity's sake. So what do you think the team ought to do with Olivia, Abe?
I think we should have her stay in the safe house, work on her episodes, get everything as prepped as she can, but try to impress upon her if she reaches out, if she shows up at all on anyone's radar, we can't protect her anymore. She has to cooperate.
Fine.
But
So
I think she
sit
should
tight.
hone her story here.
Based, doing some more background in the way that Root has shown her. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So she's going to sit in the safe house and work. Yeah. And let's hope capture doesn't go in that direction. Anybody want to seek relief from the horror in this bit of downtime? And
Yeah.
go to the tab.
Yeah, I think I want to try. Let me see. Yeah, I want to try to behave badly.
Okay, what does that look like for Root? Because
Yeah, so I think
there's that expressive, quite outgoing person sometimes, and then shuts down. What happens
yeah,
then?
I actually think I'm talking to Olivia, right? I'm still like helping her. And then I think like at some point, like just randomly during a conversation, I was like, you really should find a topic that's not true crime. True crime is like it's like World War II docudrama for girls. Do you know who is the greatest victim of true crimes according to statistics? It's black men. So I don't know, maybe try to impress that upon yourself and like try to find a more productive use of your time because let's face it, I have trained wars analysts like you, but not many. So just food for thought. So it's like she's like very casual, but she's basically saying like your entire career is basically shared in so many ways.
Grow
you
up
are
and get a
not even
proper
good
job.
at it. Yeah.
Okay, stress automatically goes down by 1. But then you roll a single d6 that you think likes you.
Yeah, okay, so hold on, let me find roll a single d6. Yeah, okay. I got a 6, so
6. Okay, so if we look at the move, you do that 4+, and they're an NPC. Mark heat and agree with control how this comes to the conspiracy's attention. What do we see in maybe a cutaway to the conspiracy that is going to allow me to mark heat as a result of this conversation, or what's gone on in the safe house, or the consequences of what went on before that?
Yeah, I think what I said kind of struck a nerve somewhere, and I think she is going beyond what we told her is like a safe parameter of her research. I think she's doing things that violate OPSEC, like she's calling people, or maybe she's going on website that's not secure, etc.
Fine, yeah. She doesn't have the skill set that you have to keep that kind of deep research off the books. So there are some flashing lights going on in some conspiracy data management section somewhere, or surveillance system. And I have just marked the first capture box. If I mark a second capture box, somebody's going to come looking for you. Now, I will just make this clear. You could spend intel to reduce heat. You could use intel to put some disinformation out there that begins to put the conspiracy off your tracks. Is that something you're interested in doing? And I kind of feel I'm talking to Abe and Abe alone. Oh no. Gio's got a bit of intel to spend. But I'll go to you first, Eric, because you've got more to spend.
Yeah. No, wait, I'm looking at where the heat is
it's up
listed.
there, top left of the operators tab, just left of root.
Oh, okay, left. Oh, I see. So we're all the way.
You're getting close.
Right. So there's only two more, or with two more, they attack. Is that right?
Well, with one more, they will try to capture you. With
Oh,
two
capture
more,
us. Okay.
they won't bother trying to capture. They will just attempt to take you out.
Got it. And is this my opportunity to use it? I can't really use it once we're in the operation.
Oh, yes, you could. You know, you can use intel again to define something about the bad guys, but you may want to take the gamble that maybe you'll pick up some more intel once the next op starts.
Right.
Because and you know, unless you're very different from anybody else, you're going to go and have a look at that international outreach hub
Yeah.
on the edge of Marrakesh. I
Yeah.
think.
Oh no, I meant I can't use intel to reduce heat once we're in the op.
No, it's a downtime activity.
Got
You
it.
know, you need to make a few calls.
Yeah. I think I think it's worth reducing it.
Okay, reduce
So I'll
intel
spend
by
one.
one, and I will take capture off the table. They're just alert and worried and alarmed. Okay. Roy, does Geo want to spend his intel point, or do you want to sit on that as an emergency?
I think I'm going to sit on it, but I do want to ask what happens if you stress out, if you get to your
Okay.
max.
If you mark your 6th stress, you break. You can undertake a single action, and then you become a pawn of the conspiracy.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's not good.
and that's not good, generally speaking. In a one shot, you know, drive them like a stolen car.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm conscious we're just coming to the hour. We've got an hour left to play, to have a go at this center. I'm going to suggest a swift 5-minute break. Back in our seats at 5 past the hour.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, we are outside the international outreach, and we know some things. We have a plan of the inside. We know there are some fuel tanks in the grounds inside the wire, and we know that Abe's former lover Harry is missing, but we, the audience, know he's been taken by the conspiracy. So, Abe, what do you want to know?
Okay. So this might be what Geo was already doing or thinking, but Abe's main thing is he wants to try to get hold of a suppressor that will work on probably on an SMG. Well, I guess I'm trying to figure out we don't know what the layout is like inside, right?
Oh, yes, you have an internal layout. You can ask
We
some
do.
questions about it if you want to. You can look over Katrina's shoulder as she's looking at the plans.
Does it look sort of cramped in there? Are there sort of long hallways? I guess I'm trying to figure out which.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's have you roll to investigate. I think your burglar expertise, your intrusion counts here. You know, you are casing the joint from a plan. So gray, orange, green if you want it.
Okay. Not gonna do green yet. So. Okay, 5.
Right. For nothing, I will tell you that most of the warehouse is a vehicle bay. You know, big roller doors on the front of the warehouse, bays for, you know, 3 or 4 big, you know, mobile health facilities. And at the back, you know, there is a block of the warehouse that's turned into offices. But interestingly, the offices are on the upper floor, you know, because it's high enough to have 2 floors. There are offices that you've got some decent description of and floor plan for. The lower level below that is labeled various plant and machinery. You get that for nothing, and there is too much space there to just be plant and machinery. Okay, so you get that for nothing. Now you can ask me a question if you want to. You are muted, just in case.
Yeah, so that doesn't let me plan that much there.
I can answer your question about what you know about the office space upstairs. It's basically a single run corridor with offices on either side.
Okay. And all right, so I think the main question I'd have then is just about the sort of the quickest, easiest way to get into those sort of clearly suspicious areas. The offices, not interested, at least, for now. So yeah,
There is
I'm
an
looking for the most direct sort of efficient way to get into those spots.
You see 2 entries to that plant and machinery space. One from the loading bay. You'd have to get through the roller doors at the front of the warehouse, and an emergency exit on the side of the building near to the fuel tanks.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah. Oh, I was
Okay.
just going to say that I did want to try to figure out suppressors for us to use.
Oh, don't
going
worry
in.
about that. You can declare that if you need them.
Okay.
There's no. It's nighttime. There's not going to be anybody in there.
Right.
So I
Okay.
think I've done Katrina. I think I've done Abe. I think I've done Root in terms of this. Is there anything, Roy, you want? If you have a question to ask, frame me a scene that would allow you to answer it.
No, I don't think there's anything there, but I do see him going in and like tapping the screen and pointing at the lower level and go, yeah, if there's any shady shit going on, that's where it's at. You always use the basement.
Okay. Okay.
Is
So,
Alan, the heavy load, did you say that just means you look clearly like you're like paramilitary?
yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
so? It's not okay.
That's webbing.
Got
That's
it.
hacks. Yeah. That's you can all be dressed in black, whatever your load is, but you look like you look like you're armed for bear.
Okay. So then after I
on
got that call about Harry, anyone there would see that I'm loading up like all the way.
okay. The only other downside of heavy is that you will be slower than people who are not heavily loaded. But you can always dump some stuff en route. If it turns into flee for your life, maybe that'll be fine.
Okay.
I'm seeing that Katrina is mediumly loaded. You can get rid of all of your load apart from the garlic spray, which I'm going to fill one gear slot for Abe. Yeah. If anybody else wants to have that, then we'll flash back to Root making some more. And let me just check out on Root. Staying light loaded, Root?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I'm just going to tell you something else, Root, just to help you make a decision about where we see you next. When you infiltrated international outreach, there is a kind of gap on the system diagram. Your best judgment is that some of the IT in that building is internal. It's not connected to normal Wi-Fi wired routes. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to do anything with that IT, you will need to be with it.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I'm seeing Roy and Abe at the wire. I'm seeing Katrina. Root, are you with Katrina?
Where is Katrina?
She is just behind Roy and Abe at the wire surrounding the warehouse.
Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to try to get into the separate IT room.
That's what I like to hear. I am going to mark for you laptop tablet, because you will need that inside to be able to do stuff. Okay. The only other thing I'd ask you to do is check out on that list of equipment the tech toolkit, because if you want to do anything technical in there, you will need access to that tech toolkit, and that may influence whether you stay with light rather than medium loaded. Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so Abe, this is all down to you. Intrusion is the name of the game here. So
Okay.
I think that's gray and orange. You could have the stress dice if you want it. Of course you can.
Yeah, this is important. So stress it is. Ooh. That's a bit of stress.
That is stress goes up, but it is a 5. I've marked burglary kit. which is necessary for you to do this kind of breaking
Yep.
in. So we're talking about wire snippers,
Yep.
and you know, something to crack a card lock. So what do we see that gets you and the team through that emergency exit? What do we see on screen?
So yeah, so basically waiting to make sure that there's no guard loop at the time, snipping fast, push everyone in, through the hole, move in, and then I think for the emergency door, it might need to just have like a little crowbar or something, because if it's that kind of thing where it's like there's no real access out, then just wrench it open fast.
And
Ben.
what's, yeah, go on.
Oh, that's it.
Click, in you go. You get in, light spills out, and inside is not plant and machinery, gee whiz. There is a white corridor illuminated by neons. The walls have a clinical whiteness about them. And there are a couple of doors on one side. You think that probably fills out that space on the map. Let me go to Geo, who is our killer after all. Geo, Abe's got you in. What do you do to protect the others? What do we see you do that puts you in a position to make sure that they don't get, taken out in a hurry?
First of all, I've got a mask on because I always got to protect Carly as much as I can. But I've probably got a shotgun out, and
Okay.
like I'm right there beside Abe, kind of like in front of him a little bit, letting him tell me where to go, but I'm the one pointing and shooting.
Okay, so a shotgun. I've marked you 2 gear slots for that.
Yeah, great minds think alike. I was gonna do, after dealing with that guy scurrying around the room, I was gonna bring a shotgun too.
Okay. Katrina, you and Root are next. Who do you usher Root in, or do you go follow next?
No, I shall root in.
Okay. So Root, you cross the threshold, you see this corridor, this clinical whiteness about it. What do you do, if anything?
So where is the security room?
Somewhere in this space. There are three doors down here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to find my way there.
Okay. So, no messing about. Past Roy and Abe to the first door. It's got a glass panel in it, and it's an office. Let me ask Katrina what she does.
Was there one sort of across from that on the other side? I can just
On the same side further on.
Yep. Oh, I'll just try and go in there.
That's a different kind of door. That looks like airlock is a strong word. Secure with a porthole window in it. And when you look through that window, you see that there are a number of decontamination suits and what looks like a lift door. Come back to you in a minute. Geo, Root scurries past you, and I'm guessing you try to get ahead of her. What do you want to do? Again, watching brief?
Okay. Is Kristen, is it, that's up at the door? Where did
Katrina,
Root go?
Okay.
I'm sorry, Katrina.
Right. So Root looked in the first door. It's an office. Katrina went to the second door. It looks more like an airlock, and it has a single porthole window. There is another door beyond it.
Okay. I will go beyond them for that other door, but I'm kind of like circling as I'm walking.
There appear to be no other entries or exit into here apart from one at the far end of this corridor, which, based on your understanding of the plan, you think goes into the vehicle bay. Okay. And that third door is another office. Abe, what do you do?
I'm gonna look at this this sort of clean room type situation and see if I have the gear to get in.
The burglary kit always has what you need. So you're going to that and you start working on the door. Yeah, there's a digital key lock. You don't have it, you'll have to decode it. We'll do that in a moment. Root, you saw this first office. What do you do?
Is there other like exit in the office?
No, there isn't, but there is a terminal on the desk.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to mess with it.
Fine. Geo, much like Root, you can see through the glass panel in this office door a desk with a computer on it.
Okay, do I see anybody inside?
No.
Can I see the entirety of the room?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just leave it for now and go back and watch Root.
What I will tell you is that there is a window in the wall that it shares with the clean room that Abe's looking at. So you could be in that office and look into the clean room from the side. Katrina, you're at the airlock door. Abe, let's see if intrusion can get you in. So this is rolling to do something else with gray dice, orange dice, green if you want it.
4 stress, so I guess I shouldn't do stress.
Well, I'll remind you folks, if you can find a narrative excuse to seek relief from the horror at any time, you are welcome to.
Right.
You want to kind of shout at another member of the team. Fine.
Yeah, actually, that's not a bad. Okay, so yeah, you know what? I'll wait to do that potentially, but I will add the stress because yeah, he's in a bad mood, to say the least. So okay.
Indeed he is.
Okay.
Oh, 6. Right. It's a piece of cake. It's like 0001. It's just somebody's not thinking about this. That 6 means that this goes brilliantly. Mark intel. But it's almost like it was too easy. And that's where the stress comes from, or you get to roll for stress.
I rolled and yeah, so
wow. How hard that is, real hard luck. So
Yeah.
stress is at 5, Abe. Someone's going to catch it. But on a 6, what is the extra benefit you want?
I think that I have I mean, I don't know if this makes sense, but that I would have access to sort of this is like I've figured out a code for, or that they are that stupid that they've sort of are using sort of like a default code that I can sort of get into anywhere else.
I will, unless I get really nasty and spend heat, I will assume that these doors are no longer a barrier.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Root, what are you doing at that terminal?
Yeah, so first I'm trying to find a way into, like, if they have a separate system that's internal.
Yeah, this terminal belongs to that system. This terminal doesn't go out, it looks in. What do you want to do?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to try to take it over.
Fine. So let's have you digital intrusion, gray dice, green dice, orange dice, green if you want it.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that.
6 guy. Mark intel. And you have control. Do you want control of, and you're going to get 2 on that 6, right? You're going to get 2 of these. Do you want control of any further alarms that are kind of part to do with this bit of the building? Do you want control of video that they might have down there? Or do you want data? You can have any 2 of those 3.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to take the alarm and video. So, like, to cover our tracks, I will leave the physical investigation to others.
Fine. The reason that you are going to roll for stress is that one of the cameras reveals that underneath this location is what looks like an archaeological dig. It appears to be a subterranean Roman ruin. Okay, roll for
Yeah,
stress.
yeah. I'm going to roll. I
Stress
got
goes up
3,
by
so
one.
let's. Yeah, it's fine.
You were not expecting that. So it's pretty clear that the lift beyond that clean room goes down to this archaeological dig. What do you do, Gio? Your point man on this.
First of all, I say to Rue, I was like, "You find the fangs, kid?"
I'm not a kid, and yes.
Everybody's a kid when you're old.
Okay, Boomer. Also, I have no idea, but someone here is taking, I don't know, retrofuturism very literally, and I think I show him what the video about the Roman tomb. I guess it's that a tomb or just a ruin.
If you
Oh
hadn't
shit,
used the
that's
word
not good.
tomb or catacomb, I would have.
Yeah,
Because
oh
Gio,
shit, that's not good.
you're
Yeah,
Italian.
no.
You've seen ruins like this. This
I let
is
out
a Roman catacomb with a very ornate tomb in the middle of it.
let out a string of curses in Italian, and it's like, guys, we gotta get down there. There's something going on. There's a friggin' ruin down there. That's never good. What the fuck are
Katrina,
these things up to?
Katrina, what is your thinking at the moment?
So we didn't come here to explore. We're just, yeah, we need to stop them. Let's get the evidence from the data and get out of here.
Best way to stop them is put a bullet in their head.
Well, I've got grenades. I can just blow up the elevator. They won't be able to get back up.
What do you want to do?
Eh.
Abe, I seem to remember that would you give your life to stop them if you
Yeah.
could inflict concrete harm on them? How do you what would give you the greatest concrete harm at this point?
I think it would be killing if there's an actual vampire down here, not just another Mr. Jimmy type, then I would assume ending them is worth it. But more importantly, I was about to give Root hell for not owning all of the doors, through for hacking. But now Katrina is showing some real weak will here. So I'm gonna give her a quick earful about. So I say this is not about making some guy spend an extra hour getting out of an elevator shaft. What are you here for? You here for the podcast? What's your problem? We're here to kill them. We're here to fucking do this. So I'm gonna try to
reduce stress by 1. Roll a d6.
Okay.
4.
Okay, 4.
4 plus, and they are an operator. They take it really badly. They roll for stress.
Sorry, Katrina. It was gonna be rude 1 second ago.
4.
Stress goes up by 1. Oh my! But remember, Abe, yours goes down from 5 to 4. So now you're both on 4. Hey, when stress is 4 plus, you can spend intel to reduce it. So I am going to have Root say, hang on, this is a live feed. There's somebody down there. And as you all cluster around the screen, who do we see but Malcolm Garnier? What are you going to do, Katrina?
Would unload a handgun at the monitor be count as behaving badly for stress relief?
Yes, it would. It would.
Well, there you go then.
Yeah, go for it. Reduce stress by 1 and roll a d6.
All right.
Goes a cucumber, ice cold. That's the situation. It is a Roman catacomb with a large tomb in the middle, and Malcolm Garnier, who Katrina believes is dead, is down there. What do you do?
I'm gonna pat Geo on the shoulder. I say, let's go.
Lock and load.
Got the stakes, right? All right, cool. All right, let's go.
And they march to the lift. Root, do you go with them?
Yeah, sure. I think everything that should be turned off is turned off. So
Katrina? Is
Oh,
the data
bloody
enough
oath.
now?
Yeah. Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Lift goes down. Gets to the bottom. Ding. The door's open. Gio, what do you do when the door's open?
I feel like there's some terrible music in the elevator as we're going down. It's like one of those interminable scenes where we're looking around, scratching.
Yeah.
So what do I see when the door's open? Anything right there in front of me?
Well, are you going to act or are you going to look?
I'm okay. I'll step out and then I will look.
Okay.
I will take
okay.
a step forward, then I will get the bearing of the situation, but I'm covering the
Fine.
elevator for these guys.
Fine. When it goes ding, Malcolm Garnier turns round. He's about 50 feet away, 50 yards away, right? Because it's a big site down here. Katrina, what do you do when Malcolm turns round?
Oh, I just look at him because I want to see if it still looks like him or if he looks different.
Let's have you roll to investigate. I will give you expertise and I will give you the bonus dice. Shit, it's your husband.
Hang on, I only rolled one, so.
Oh, the 5 is fine, unless one of them is going to come up 6. You're home free.
All right. Why does that take so long? So yeah, 5.
5. That's your husband. And he smiles at you and says, Katrina, I'm so glad you're here. Root, what do you do?
Yeah, I think do the rest of us know who this is?
Well, I think given the reaction upstairs, you know that you do.
Yeah, I think I say he doesn't look much like an ancient Roman. What is he doing here?
And while you're contemplating the answer to that question, Abe, what do you do? Gio has gone outside, gone down on one hand, and whatever weapon he happens to have is pointing towards Malcolm Garnier.
So Abe is basically losing his mind over Harry and all this. So I'm gonna step out and fire at him with my shotgun.
Okay. So I've done 2 things. I've played one complication, which is who is the bad guy? Is Malcolm really Malcolm or is Malcolm a bad guy? I'm playing another one, which is risk to bystanders. Because as you start walking towards him, kind of pumping the shotgun, 2 guys appear around the corner of the tomb with Harry between them. But let's have you shoot at Malcolm. Yeah. So gray dice, orange dice, green if you want it. I think this came out of the blue, so no risk die.
Okay. So yeah, stress it is. Okay.
5. Yeah. Takes him in the shoulder. He spins backwards onto the ground. Katrina, what do you do?
So I'm still not sure if he's a freaking vampire enough.
How are you going to find out?
I'm going to try and tackle him to the ground and
Okay,
look at
so
him. Say,
you're
who
running
are you?
towards Malcolm. You're running towards
Yeah.
Malcolm. Gio, what do you do when, bang, bang goes the shotgun, and you're kind of covering? What do you do? And Harry and
Oh,
two goons are over there.
where are the two goons at in relation to this guy? Like, how far away are they, I guess?
20 paces. They've just come
Okay.
around the corner of the tomb. It
Are
might
they
have,
armed?
you're not certain. Did Malcolm gesture somebody out from that cover when they're holding Harry?
Okay. Do I see like machine guns or anything visible?
Yeah. They've got shouldered machine guns hanging on loops, but their focus is on holding Harry because Harry's no slouch. Harry's special ops himself. What do you
Okay.
do?
I think I'm gonna rush toward those guys, and I'm gonna try to kneecap one of them.
Fine. Let's see how that goes. So you're rolling grey dice, orange dice, green dice if you want it. I'm not going to roll for risk at this point because I think they'd have to kind of let Harry go, and that's not in their orders at this minute. So what do you
Okay.
do?
Should I roll the black die for
Oh
deadly?
yeah, sorry,
Or...
you're deadly. Of course, I forget you're deadly.
Yeah, and this is important. I'm gonna throw a stress die on there too.
4
Nothing go
dice.
bad with stress.
Wow. Wow,
5.
5. Yeah, 5. One of them goes down in a heap. You blow his kneecap away with a shotgun, I think you said.
Yeah.
Root, all hell has suddenly broken loose. This doesn't usually happen in the back of that black van. What do you do?
Yeah, I think actually, amidst all this chaos, I'm going to try to sneak toward the tomb and see what they are doing down there.
Fine. I think everyone is busy at this point, so I'm not going to make you roll for that. Next time we come back to you, you'll be next to the tomb. Okay?
Yeah.
I think Abe is at the sharp end. You put down Malcolm. Katrina runs past you. What do you do, Abe?
I see that Geo. So I'm guessing because I have a shotgun and has area. If I try to fire on the other guy holding Harry, that'll be bad for Harry.
Yeah, I gave Geo the benefit of the doubt simply because he's got that deadly assassin thing.
Oh yeah, and he was moving up on them. So that's at this range, I'm sure the spread is bad. So I'm gonna grit my teeth. I don't think I'm gonna burn another load. So I'm gonna sorry, hold on, let me look at my guy again. I think I have 2 slots. Yeah. All right, so it's against my instincts, but I'm gonna run up, and I mean, if I can, I don't think I can. I'd like to beat Katrina to this guy, but guessing I probably can't. I'm gonna run and move around to the other side of him. I'm waiting to get a clean shot, basically.
Yeah,
but
I
she's
don't
obviously in the way.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to beat Katrina there. Katrina, you get to Malcolm. He's lying there, just rubbing his shoulder, which as you look, regrows. What do you do, Katrina?
Well.
And he smiles at me, says, I've been waiting so long. What do you do, Katrina?
I've missed you and shove a grenade in his mouth.
Okay. We'll come back to that in a moment. Root, you are next to the tomb. What do you do?
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to research it. I'm not sure exactly what that entails because I want to figure out why, like,
What's
are
going
they
on?
yeah, are they digging for someone or something specific here?
Yeah, okay.
Or do they have specialized equipment here that you wouldn't find in otherwise find in an excavation site here? Like this?
Exactly. I think I'm imagining that you're kind of creeping around trying to look into the tomb. Does that seem? Yeah?
Yeah.
And inside the tomb, the first thing that hits you is the smell of blood. And inside this large tomb, probably 10 paces front to back, side to side, maybe 15 paces front to back. They have set up in here. You can see just, tanks of blood. And the blood is being pumped to a couple of shower heads. And the shower heads are dripping blood into a sarcophagus in the middle of the tomb. So that is not what you would expect to find. It's fair to say. What do you do, Root?
Let me see. What skill do I use? What do I roll to use C4?
Sorry, I was distracted. To use.
To use explosive?
Oh, that's technical. Yeah.
Yeah. So would I also need the technical toolkit for that?
No,
Or just
all you need is C4 and a detonator.
Yeah. So I think I'm kind of disappointed by this, so I decided to blow it up because it looks bad.
There is a problem. You're lightly loaded. You can't have something with 2 squares, and that's C4 and a detonator. One of the others is carrying the C4 and the detonator. Probably Geo or Abe, because they're heavily loaded.
Light load did only get me to 2.
Yeah, but if you're light loaded, you can only carry 1 box stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I get it.
Because the other stuff is too bulky to be unobtrusive. So one of the others has got the C4. You're going to have to get the C4 from one of the others.
Yeah, sure.
Meanwhile, Abe, you've got round. You see Katrina take out a grenade, which I'm guessing she's declared, and pulling the pin. And that's the point, Katrina, when Malcolm says, "We can be together again." And I think I remember you telling me, Katrina, that you're not sure there's anything you will not do to get him back. I think that leaves you with your finger in the pin. Geo, still approaching the guy with Harry. Abe, you have a clear shot on Malcolm Garnier.
I see her hesitating. I'm going to put the gun right to his forehead and pull the trigger.
Let's have you roll. I think this is roll to do something else, because I'm also conscious of time. I think this is roll to do something else. Can you get up close in this moment of indecision by Katrina?
Okay. So I'll do it with stress.
Okay.
If I can use intel here, I would, but I don't know if I really I don't have enough to get to a vulnerability,
No,
so
you don't. You could get rid of 1 and reduce your stress by 1, but we're close to close here, aren't we?
Yeah. So okay, sorry. I'm just gonna try this. All right, hold on. Okay.
5. Bang. Katrina, Abe just
I
made
say
a
I'm
decision
sorry
for
to
you.
her and then do it.
Abe just made a decision for you, Katrina. What do you do with the grenade?
I say go, and I flick the pin away and stand still.
We can be together again. Geo, the guy with Harry is letting Harry go and going for his SMG. What do you do, Geo?
Headshot. Close
your
range
thing.
headshot.
Yeah. Gray, orange, black, green if you want it. But this time I want 1 risk die from you. Five. Bang, head goes off. But as the body falls, reflexly, a spray of machine gun fire. You need to deal with a potential consequence. So he is a nameless pawn. So you are going to roll a d6 and add 3 to it.
Okay, I'm gonna use the stress die then.
Okay, to see whether this does you any harm at all.
So
3 and 3
6.
is 6. 4 plus. You were lucky this time. It hurts, but you'll live. And Harry kind of goes to pick up one of the machine guns because he's no fool. But he's seen Abe.
I'm like, not so fast, and I look at his neck to make sure it's not been bit, and I pull his lip up to make sure there's no fangs. All right, get over there.
Root. I'm just going to check who might have that C4 that you want. And I think it is probably Geo. What are you going to
Yeah,
do? Assuming that Roy is prepared to declare C4 and a detonator.
Absolutely.
you know, I think I'm just speaking on the corner and say, hey guys, I think we need some explosives down here.
Yeah, I got it, kid. I'll pull it off like a bandolier and throw it to him.
Throw it.
Throw it to her.
So, Root, you have the C4, you have the detonator. What do you see? What do we see you doing with it?
Yeah, I'm just going to set it up right around the sarcophagus because the blood doesn't matter.
Yeah, that works for me. Do you look into the sarcophagus, Root?
Is it open?
Oh, yeah. The spray of blood is going into the sarcophagus.
Yeah. So I guess I do. What do I see?
Because you're fascinated by the allure of the blasphemous
Yeah,
arcade.
yeah.
Of course you are. You look over the top and you see a dehydrated body, awash with blood. But it looks in too good condition to have lasted from the Roman Empire, unless that blood is doing something. And that's when its eyes open. What do you do, Root?
I blow it up.
Press detonate and run.
Yeah.
I think that probably this is where we use the move flee for your life.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. So I
So-
still roll, right? Yeah.
Oh, you still roll for flee for your life. It's going to go off. Don't worry about that. Flee for your life. You don't have military fieldcraft, which is the fitness characteristic. So you are just rolling the grey dice unless you want the stress dice.
Yeah. I'm going to roll the stress and the gray die, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I got 5.
5. Stress goes up by 1. On a 4-5, you get clean away unless control chooses to spend heat to have you chased. I don't think there's anybody left down here to chase you. Geo, flee for your life.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah. You don't have military fieldcraft either, so it's just the grey dice and the stress dice if you want it.
Oh, 3.
Okay, so 1 to 3, you're in trouble. Choose to either get caught and agree with control who or what gets left behind. So who or what gets left behind down here?
Well, I'm standing still, so
Fine, Katrina gets left behind. That's a
because
very
Harry
fair-
could help him.
Okay.
Yeah. Abe,
Mm.
flee for your life. You do have military fieldcraft, so expertise counts.
Okay. And I'll use stress. All right.
6 on the stress dice. Stress goes up. It doesn't reach 6, does it?
No, not yet. I'm right on
And
the
you
line.
are clean away with intel for what it's worth.
Can I grab
and,
Harry?
I think you can grab Harry on that 6. Yeah, you get Harry into the lift. Where Root, who went first, is just hovering with her finger over as you and Harry just get between the doors as they go closed. But just as they close, what do we see, Katrina, before the doors just close between us, the camera and you?
Probably kneel down towards her husband with a grenade. So,
and I think discreetly behind a piece of ancient debris, and there's an explosion, and then the lift begins to go up, and you hear a kind of from down below, and the elevator rocks back and forth.
and then
That is our game. with like 2 minutes to go, I apologize. I'm normally better on time than that. I would like to give each of you the chance to pick out 1 star to allocate to somebody for what you really enjoyed today. Let me start with Blake.
I like how Abe got sort of more and more unhinged as things started to go wrong in his life and in the mission. That was interesting.
Eric, a star you want to award to somebody for what happened this afternoon?
I think Katrina's end was quite beautiful.
So
I
do
was gonna try to save her, but then once the consequence was that she's getting left behind, I figured Abe couldn't. So
Yeah. Helba, a star for this afternoon?
Yeah, I like the terrible elevator music. I was about to suggest something like that should happen. Like maybe not terrible, but just like very dissonantly cheapy elevator music.
Spot on. And finally, Roy, is there a star you want to pass about?
Yeah, I think Helmut did a great job playing the hacker in a very interesting and entertaining way.
Yeah, yeah. And my star is just the way that you hit the ground running, folks. You know, a new system to most of you, but a pleasure to run for you. And I hope to play with you again. I will just ask before I stop the recording, is it okay for me to post this recording?
Yeah.
sure.
Thanks very much.